Here's what's at stake. A chance to do this next week. One coach, Adam Dorrell, knows that feeling. Another, Will Hall, wants to experience his first. Northwest Missouri State hosts West Georgia in an NCAA Division II semifinal next on ESPN3. You're watching the NCAA Division II Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. Welcome to Bearcat Stadium in Maryville, Missouri, a semifinal matchup between the host Northwest Missouri State Bearcats, undefeated in their 10th semifinal appearance in program history, against the West Georgia Wolves. They are 12-1. Let's take a look at our brackets. Both of these teams seeded number one. A date in the championship game next Saturday at stake against the winner of Grand Valley State and Shepherd. Welcome to the broadcast location with former Colorado Buffalo linebacker and 15-year NFL vet Chad Brown. I'm Brett Dolan. Thanks for joining us. Chad is a former defensive guy. You know how important defense is once you get this deep into any tournament. We might have the two best defenses in D2 here today.
I think we do have the two best defenses in D2. For West Georgia, they're holding teams under 140 yards passing through the air. And for Northwest Missouri, they've given up only 64 yards a game on the ground, and last week they held Tuskegee to negative 24 yards rushing.
Well, let's talk about the two quarterbacks going up against these defenses here today. Dallas Dickey threw for nearly 400 yards last week for West Georgia, but he's a guy who can do it on the ground as well.
Yeah, Coach Hall said Dallas Dickey is his toughest player by far, a true dual-threat quarterback. You talk about his passing numbers, he has gained over 750 yards this season on the ground.
Now for Northwest, Brady Bowles, his brother led the Bearcats to a national championship back in 2009. Now he has his opportunity.
Yeah, much more of a true passing threat. He's thrown for over 3,500 yards this season and 27 touchdowns through the air. Both these quarterbacks are going to have to be smart with the football against these two great defenses.
The Bearcats from Northwest Missouri State, the Wolves from West Georgia, a semifinal matchup from Maryville. And our kickoff comes your way next. The NCAA Division II Football Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual. Who caught it? Great atmosphere here in Maryville, Missouri. The students are done with their classes. Finals coming up next week, so a big turnout today. And you also see the fog. 45 degrees, rain expected later on. It's not quite Soldier Field 1988 with the Bears, Chad, but it's a little different look down on the surface.
It just looks like playoff football is what it looks like to me. This is what you expect this time of the year in inclement weather. It's visually tough, but the weather conditions I don't think will affect the outcome of the ball game here today.
Here's Coach Adam Dorrell. As you take a look at the defenses, we talked about this in the open. Number one against number two. Obviously, scoring defense also 1 and 2, and that's what makes this matchup so intriguing.
Yeah, but I talked about during the open how these offenses, but quarterbacks in particular, are going to need to be very smart with the football. Let their defenses, the best part of their teams, go out and try to win this ball game for them.
The Bearcats at home will get the football first. Their 10th semifinal appearance of all time. Just in front of the goal line, it's Sean Bain. And Bain across the 20, wrapped up and thrown down. And that's where the Bearcats will begin their first offensive possession. There's Brady Bowles, Lincoln, Nebraska native. Completes more than 60% of his passes. You see what he did last week, but he likes to involve a lot of receivers, Chad.
And he has a number of high-profile targets out there, guys who are some possession types, some deep field threats. He's going to have an opportunity to hit all those guys and need to hit those guys to get a win against this great Western Georgia defense.
48 wins in his career, seasoned experience, especially when it comes to playoffs. And Phil Jackson will be the running back lined up to his left. Northwest Missouri State averages more than 40 points a game. The Wolves give up less than 15 a contest. There's our referee, Bob Rose, working this semifinal game today. What a great turnout, great atmosphere here in Maryville for Division II football. And Jackson will carry first. Jackson able to get outside where he was knocked down on the boundary. Let's take a look at our impact players for today's game.
Yeah, Dylan Donahue is a fantastic defensive end for Western Georgia. A completely full stat line. He is a sacker, a tackle for loss, or sets the edge for their defense. And Sean Bain is a dynamic guy in the pass game. Also carries the ball a little bit on offense.
Bulls to go to the air for the first time. He's going to get his first down and more. Able to involve Shane Williams on the reception. So just like that, the Bearcats move the sticks.
From a defensive philosophy standpoint, talking to Coach Will Hall for West Georgia, he talked about them stopping the run and not letting any passes get over their heads.
Yeah, he was worried about the big play. Certainly one of his points of emphasis today. Quick pass underneath. It's going to lead to a few yards. And we talked about the Bearcats trying to involve a number of wide receivers. It was Marquise Sorrell getting his first opportunity here today. Gain of 4 on the play, so it's 2nd and 6 in these foggy conditions here in Missouri. Opening drive for the Bearcats. Bulls more than 3,500 yards passing this year. That's 7th best in NCAA football. His pass complete into Wolves territory and more. All the way down to about the 43.
We're so familiar in football with the play fake. That play fake got the linebackers to bite up, enabled the receiver for the Bearcats to get open there. An easy throw for Brady Bowles. Finds his guy open because of the play action fake.
Randy Schmidt with his 18th catch of the year. So some of the big play targets: Sean Bain, Shakori Foster, George Seal not involved. And there's Cameron Wilcox on the carry. He will alternate at times with Phil Jackson. Wilcox, the sophomore out of Illinois. For Coach Dorrell, 59-8 in his career. Just his 3rd season as a head coach. He was a national champion.
Yeah, the standard here is really high. 11 straight playoff seasons for Northwest Missouri.
Boy, they love their tradition, love hosting these games. Bulls rolling out, being chased, and that pass a little bit short of the intended target. George Seal on the boundary. It'll be 3rd down.
Bulls had Jordan Groves open in the intermediate part of the route. He chose to go further downfield. You know, something these quarterbacks are going to have to do. We talked about them allowing their defense to win the ball game. Don't take too many chances offensively. Take what these great defenses are giving them.
4 receivers in the formation here on 3rd down and 6 to go. Bulls locates his receiver, Shane Williams. He'll have the first down inside the 30 to about the 28.
The 2 receivers to the left of the offense, they run a little bit of a crossing route. Shane Williams is the guy who becomes uncovered. Bowles spots him early. Good pass. First down pickup.
What great job with the hands of Williams to make that catch on that replay. So the sticks move for the Bearcats. Opening drive at the 28 of West Georgia. Handoff goes underneath to Jordan Grove. He'll line up in different spots, Chad. The first time he's been able to carry the ball in this game.
They like to get him the ball in the passing game and in the run game. A very versatile player for the Bearcats. I anticipate him playing a big role because when you have when you have great defensive play, you've got to use those players who aren't in predictable situations. If he's a running back, is he going to run it? Is he going to pass it? We're not really sure with Jordan Groves.
First team tight end / fullback in the conference. Gains 5 on first down. Back to the ground they go. It's Wilcox with the seam. Steps out of a tackle inside the 7. And it was Carlos Hutton who saved a touchdown as the safety spot from West Georgia.
We did our call with Coach Will Hall this week. He talked about them being a better tackling team this week. We'll see a number of missed tackles on this run. A nice power run by Cameron Wilcox, and he's really more of the outside runner for the Bearcats, but so far he's running tough in between the tackles.
TJ Schieber, the tight end, lined up in the backfield. Cameron Wilcox to the right of Brady Bowles. Wilcox will carry. Tries to bounce outside. He's inside the 5, and he's spun around, and the Wolves up for the task, able to drop him It's Marion Chapman, second team all-conference player from his linebacking position with the stop. He's the leading tackler on this team. Second and goal from the 3. We talked about these teams being the top 2 scoring defenses in the country. The Bearcats trying to go down the field and punch it in for 7 in their opening sequence. Wilcox with the seam into the end zone, touchdown. Carrying Zed Brown the final yard, and the Bearcats strike first. Third rushing touchdown of the season for Cameron Wilcox.
What I wanted you to watch on this play is the block of Jordan Groves. That kick-out block right there, that's what allows Cameron Wilcox to get into the end zone. That great kick-out block. Jordan Groves, a factor, receiving the ball, running the ball, and a great point of attack blocker.
He took out Marcus Sales, the corner, led to a touchdown for that man. Here's Mathisen on, the young man from Denmark, who is 67 out of 68 in PATs this year. In the 11-play opening drive, the extra point is good. The Bearcats lead at 7-0. An impressive opening sequence, Chad, able to go down the field against this tough West Georgia defense.
A very impressive drive. And again, we'll watch the kick-out block by Jordan Groves right there. And then Cameron Wilcox knows how to cut off that block to the inside and then imposes his will onto the Wolves defender to get the 6 points.
Team that averages about 150 yards on the ground. Able to go to the ground several times in that drive with one big catch to Shane Williams from that man Brady Bowles. And you know, he's a winner, 4 of 5 on that opening drive. But you're talking about a kid trying to win the 49th game in his career. This is the 9th playoff game he has played in his career.
And there is no substitute for big game and playoff game experience. So for Brady Bowles and for Adam Durrell, this is what they want in this situation. A guy who's been there, who's been tested through this, who's been through this before. That was a fantastic opening drive. Sets the tone, hopefully, for the Bearcats throughout this ballgame.
We know one of the teams in the championship game next Saturday in Kansas City, Shepherd, with a 34-32 win over Grand Valley State. See in our brackets a pair of #1 seeds, Super Region #3 and #2. There's Devontae Jackson, a talented tailback, back hoping for an opportunity to return this kickoff. Mathisen will let one fly, and Jackson will have to chase it to about the 10. Working from right to left. Stayed on his feet across the 30, and there's a late marker that came flying in, and we'll see if this goes against the Wolves. Get our referee today is Bob Rose.
Holding, receiving team number 15. Half the distance, first down.
Well, it can't be number 15. He was the ball carrier. That's hard to carry and hold on the same kickoff return.
I believe it may have been DJ Ezel who was his primary blocker in front of him. He was the guy who he ran into once it got into the traffic there that slowed him down from getting any more yards.
Dallas Dickey, the hometown product, the quarterback, the senior, completes 62% of his passes. He works with Jackson in the backfield. You see the numbers for Dickey. Almost 400 yards last week against Tuskegee in a game that wasn't close for West Georgia. And Jackson will carry first. Jackson threw a seam before he's erased at about the 25-yard line. There to make the tackle, Jacob Volstead. And we'll be talking about him most of the afternoon.
We certainly will. He's their leading tackler by 42 tackles. Usually the less, here he is, one of the impact guys. Leading tackler, 11 sacks, 15 tackles for losses, 1 interception, and an amazing stat line for Jacob Volstead.
An Iowa City product. Meanwhile, Dominic Robertson jumped off sides, the left tackle for the Wolves offense.
Full start, 75 offense, 5-yard penalty.
And Chad, the crowd might be a factor, and you're saying, hey, it's a D2 game, there's 6,000-7,000 fans here. This crowd is into it, and they have packed the stands.
And the entire Northwest Missouri sideline, assistant coaches and players are in the game are waving the crowd and trying to get more noise from this crowd to interrupt the West Georgia offense.
It was one of the concerns for Coach Will Hall, how they would handle playing on the road and what he called the Notre Dame of D2 football, Northwest Missouri State. On 2nd and 7, there's Jackson. Good speed, but he will not get outside. In fact, he's going to be thrown down. Kevin Berg, the safety, came up to wrap him up. Look at the energy from Kevin Berg in this opening defensive drive.
Devontae Jackson has had a great second half of the season, but that tackle by Kevin Berg just shuts this guy down right there. He didn't gain another yard once contact was made. That's the way you draw it up in your defensive meeting rooms. That's how you tackle somebody.
Well, a kid who has 8 interceptions this year, making a strong open field tackle.
Yes, Kevin Berg, a D2 All-American candidate.
Indeed. So 3rd and 3. The Bearcats scored on their opening drive. Now trying to get off the field. Dallas Dickey forced to run and had his pass dropped. It was in the hands of Shaq Hall, his leading receiver. Would have had the first down, could not hold on.
And the irony of that drop is on my Shaq Hall section of my board here, I've got great hands. That's what Coach Will Hall told us during the conference call. This guy has fantastic hands. First ball thrown to him, unfortunately he drops it.
James Dugan, all-conference, all-American type punter, averaging more than 40 yards a kick, will send one in the direction of Sean Bain, a dangerous return man. Both teams talked about the importance of not giving up a punt return, and this is a missile. This one's going to go all the way into the end zone. You're talking about a punt of almost 75 yards.
He came into the game with a long of 67, so the booted 75 is long for the season.
Impressive indeed. Underway. Bearcats lead the Wolves 7-0 in Maryville, Missouri. Northwest Missouri State scored a touchdown on their opening drive. West Georgia unable to get a first down. They needed a big kick from James Dugan, and did they ever receive one? Chad, watch this thing come off his foot.
He absolutely booms this thing. Both coaches came into the game concerned about getting punts blocked. Neither one of them talked about the potential for a 75-yard punt.
So James Dugan did his job, but the Bearcats offense back on the field on a foggy day here in Maryville, Missouri. Brady Bowles starting to scramble. Bowles takes off, and he's dropped across the 25 by Gabe Freeman. Second team all-conference performer in the Gulf South Conference.
I've talked about Dallas Dickey as a dual threat quarterback. Brady Bowles, not the same type of dual threat, but a more than capable runner with the football. 308 yards rushing for the season and 6 touchdowns.
The broken play picked up 7 yards. There's Phil Jackson. Big hole for Phil Jackson. First down and more. And Jamari James from his linebacking spot made the tackle, but not before he got in the second level.
An absolutely massive hole opened up by the left side of the Bearcats offensive line. Easy first down pickup for Phil Jackson. Tough running it towards the end of the run, but a massive hole to start the play.
That name sounds familiar. Phil Jackson, his brother Justin Jackson, a running back at Northwestern, both Illinois kids. Fresh set of downs for the Bearcats in their second drive. Bulls with time to throw. Locates Shane Williams. And Vason there to wrap him up after he gained nearly 8 on first down.
Coach Durrell talked about for his offense, he'd like to come with this game and present some balance to not give the West Georgia defense anything particularly key on. Not necessarily just balance between run and pass, but also who's going to get the football. But so far, we've seen Shane Williams catch a couple of passes early on in this ball game.
But that play chart for Coach Dorrell, it looked like the supersized version. He needed somebody to hold on to that between plays. Second and short, Bowles has to let one fly down the boundary intended for Bain, but just probably thrown away.
And that's what you want your Cedar quarterback to do. None of your receivers are getting separation. No one's open. Throw it away, but throw it out of bounds so there's no possibility of an interception. Smart play by Bowles.
Especially on 2nd and 1, but now 3rd and 1, and they will line up for the first time today in an I formation with Grove as the fullback. And Bowles under center. See if Jordan Grove carries. He does, and he should have the first down. It was Wayne Williams, the first man there, a Syracuse transfer, that had a hold of him, but not before. Grove fell forward near midfield to move the sticks.
Obviously, with the play they've gotten from Brady Bowles this season, I think he would probably be their offensive MVP, but their most versatile player would be Jordan Groves. Picking up short yardage first downs like he did the last play, the great kick-out block to get the touchdown. He's going to be a factor in this game in multiple ways.
4 receivers, 2 bunched to each side of the football field. Quick pass into the hands of Bain, trying to get him involved, waiting for something to open up, and able to get to the boundary where he was popped by Jamari James. And that's another nice pickup on first down of about 8. You look at Sean Bain with a big game today. He'll be over 80 catches on the year. He's a track and field kid. He's a Florida native playing his football here in Northwest Missouri.
Yeah, he is the home run threat for the Bearcats offense.
2nd and 2. It feels like Northwest Missouri has been working with a short field today. Wilcox had the touchdown. Wilcox will get the first down here before he's gang tackled. Laranchi Vason, one of those there. Some help with Marion Chapman, but that's an easy pickup of a first down.
We saw a very similar play to Cameron Wilcox on the first series. Very similar result, nice gain. Finding some weaknesses, I think, to run the football to the left side of the Wolves defensive line.
Didn't talk a lot about those guys up front, Chad, but Shane Smith, his 53rd game as the left tackle. Daniel Kempf, former walk-on second-team all-conference performer on the left side of the line. Now Bowles being chased, able to step out of a tackle. And from what could have been a big loss to a first down gain. Dylan Donahue, a talented defensive end, missed him, and Bowles made him pay.
Donahue will get the penetration. He'll have Bowles in his hands. Unfortunately, in his hand, couldn't get 2 hands on him, couldn't grab enough cloth to get Brady Bowles down. And Brady Bowles shows that he's not just a small, thin quarterback. At 6'3", 205, he's got some strength to shrug off those rushers and pick up the first downs.
Well, Donahue, a guy a couple of rounds ago against Valdosta State, had 3.5 sacks in the game and missed what could have been a huge play there. So 1st and 10. Bowles dropping back, looking deep, down the boundary, intended for Bain. Threw it into double coverage.
I'm quite certain in the West Georgia defensive meeting rooms this week, particularly in those secondary meetings, they talked about Bain and him being a home run threat and not allowing him to get behind him. As you just said, that time he was in double coverage on a little bit of a deeper throw.
Chad, one number to watch for this West Georgia defense as you look at Alex Arma, first-team all-conference player. They've had 15 interceptions this year from 12 different players. They could use 1 or 2 of those today.
Absolutely, and both coaches talked about turnovers during our calls with them.
2nd and 10. Phil Jackson trying to fight for yards. Look at him compete for a few extra. Chapman and Vason there, but that's a gain of 7. What looked to be maybe a gain of 2 or 3. Let's take a look at how our teams are planning for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual. Here's really the keys for these two teams.
Yeah, no turnovers for West Georgia. Be on the good side of big plays. Make sure their offense is having the big plays, not allowing big plays against their defense, and handle the pressure of playing in this environment against such a great playoff team like Northwest Missouri. And for Northwest Missouri, stop the run, win the turnover battle, and keep their blocker from West Georgia from blocking their punts.
We'll talk more about Marcus Sales, but there's Brady Bowles. He said, hey, you're talking about Dallas Dickey being dangerous on the ground. Watch me. Here's a gain of 7, first down. Coach Dorrell said this guy's always been a good leader, but he elevated himself into a great leader this year, working with a lot of young wide receivers. He got them on the same page early.
Again, we talked about his playoff experience. Being a senior, that's what you want your senior leadership to do. Put their arms around the young receivers. Hey, guys, let's get out, get some extra passes done, work on our passing game.
Wilcox had the first touchdown. Can't step out of the tackle there. Wrapped up by Wayne Williams. Gives him a little pat on the backside after dropping him. Williams, 6'4", 326 pounds. That's a D1 body.
That's a lot of man.
Brooklyn, New York kid. He's going to come off the field on what'll be 2nd and 6 after pickup of 4 in the play. Phil Jackson, the lone setback to the left of Brady Bowles. Jackson will carry, trying to find a seam, and there's a lot of white and blue pushing back the ball carrier. No running room there. Marion Holmes from Panama City, Florida, first man there on the defense. Chad, this would be a huge pick-me-up for the Wolves just to force a field goal try here.
Yes, for their defense to stiffen in this situation would be a fantastic momentum for them defensively, because they've now, second drive in, have allowed Northwest Missouri to move the ball pretty easily on them down the field. Be nice for them to stiffen here in the red zone.
George Seal, the receiver, lined up to the right. Bowles looking in that direction, and that pass was just knocked down. Intended for Randy Schmidt, I believe. At least he was the closest man there. It'll be 4th and 5. Let's keep an eye on Marcus Sales. Here's a kid that's blocked 7 this year. You see the field goals and the punt breakdown, 9 in his career.
That's an absolute amazing stat. One of the most difficult things in all of football to do is to block kicks, but to block it at the rate and the consistency which he does is absolutely amazing.
Mathisen has made 22 field goals this year. He averages more than 10 points a game, and Sales almost got there. But it's through for 3 more. Mathisen makes it 10-0 Northwest Missouri State. Let's watch Sales come off the edge, Chad.
He tries to get skinny around the edge, just doesn't get enough of a jump to be a factor in blocking that kick.
10-0 Northwest Missouri State. If you'd like to identify coaching prospects, pay attention to this name. Will Hall, 2nd season at West Georgia. Back in 2003, he won the Harlan Hill Trophy. That's the D2 equivalent of the Heisman. He was a quarterback at North Alabama. And you see his numbers, Chad, at West Georgia, 24-4.
Fantastic 2 years for him. Playoffs both years. He's got a tough contest here today against the Northwest Missouri team. Again, a team he talked about, a program that he talked about as being the Notre Dame of Division II football.
And there's the resume of Will Hall. I got a kick in our conference call. The one loss for the Wolves came against Florida Tech. He couldn't bring himself to say loss. He kept calling it a slip-up.
Yes, they didn't play their best football. It wasn't our best game of the year. It was a close game, but he never said loss.
Almost like it's just too tough to even ponder. Devontae Jackson, another chance to return. This one angled to about the 5. He'll come up the right hash. Uh-oh, Jackson trying to bounce outside. No such doing. Wrapped up by Cole Fornia Jr. from right here in Maryville. 2:11 to play in our first quarter. Bearcats lead the Wolves 10-0 in this D2 semifinal game from Maryville, Missouri. Northwest Missouri State leads 10-0. Brett Dolan, Chad Brown. Chad, you look at the numbers, 9-0 first downs in favor of the Bearcats. 151 to 12 total yards. I would think this would be huge in this sequence for the Wolves offense.
This is an absolutely critical drive. They cannot have another 3 and out. Need to establish some offensive rhythm and continuity, and they're going to have a tough time going against the Division II's best ranked rush defense.
Well, that's the scary part. A team giving up 12 points a game. You're down 10-0 already. Can't afford to fall any further behind. I love the speed of Devontae Jackson. The boundary was the best friend of the Bearcats as Brock Sherman was chasing.
So for West Georgia, they have a player like Devontae Jackson, who's a guy who can make plays outside of the X's and O's. He has the ability to make people miss in space. He's certainly fast enough to take it all the way. They have to find ways to get him into some open situations where he can let his natural abilities take over and not just go with the same type of running plays that Northwest Missouri has seen on film.
You know, we've talked so much about defenses and what Northwest Missouri State can do. Here Dallas Dickey looking to go to the air, being chased, and has to let one fly. Volstead was almost in a position to get a sack. Now it's 3rd and long. Watch Volstead, number 43, come into your picture.
We're going to be talking about him all night. He is a heat-seeking or a football-seeking missile. Not seeking heat, but seeking football, seeking pigskin. He makes plays all over the field for the Bearcats.
Look at this turnout today at Bearcat Stadium. They have packed this facility. Dallas Dickey needs a conversion, and it's 3rd and long. See if number 3, Quay Walker, can maybe get his first catch. Pass instead for Shaq Hall. He dropped one earlier. This time he makes the catch. Tackled forward by Enyard, and it should be good for a first down. And is.
Devontae Jackson does the chip block, but in fact ends up chipping himself. That's often employed to help an offensive tackle with a great pass rush defensive end. But typically it's the defensive end who ends up feeling it, not the chip blocker.
First down, though, for the Wolves. What an important play for a 1,000-yard rusher to help out his passer with some extra time. And Shaq Hall the reception. Dickey rolling. There's Volstead pursuing and pushes him into his own sideline. Boy, 43 goes from one sideline to the other. And as a former linebacker, I know you love his effort.
I have an absolute appreciation for what he does. Again, I talked about him leading his team by 42 tackles over the second leading tackler on this team. If I'm Dallas Dickey, most quarterbacks have a check opposite audible they can go with. Whatever side Volstead's on, check opposite and run the play the other way.
So the senior Dallas Dickey try and locate Volstead as best he can. He's talking about how much, though, West Georgia likes to run. 230 yards on the ground. Volstead and this Bearcats defense gives up 63 yards on average, less than 2 yards a carry. And that was fumbled. It's loose. Who's got it? Bearcat football. Marcus Jones comes out of the pile with it.
I think this was Marcus Jones on a cornerback blitz. And as he's coming upfield, Devontae Jackson sees him, doesn't secure the football. It's a little tough to tell right there. Doesn't secure the football, but I think he senses Marcus Jones coming on the cornerback blitz. So essentially Marcus Jones forces the fumble, not through a physical way, but through his blitz, and then ends up recovering that football as well.
How did he get it back? Watch Jones. He's going to get twisted on this pile. The ball pinballed around, and somehow Jones, the smallest man in there, came up with it. All smiles on the Bearcat sideline, and that was maybe the worst case scenario for West Georgia.
Yeah, how about this first quarter for the Bearcats? What a great start for them.
With plus 19 for Northwest Missouri State. Short pass play. Not much available this time.
West Georgia really needs their defense to step up here and at least try to keep them to just a field goal, if not keep them to no points. The momentum is clearly on Northwest Missouri's sideline at this point, making plays on offense and that big splash play on defense.
No gain on that previous play. Bulls with time to throw over the middle behind his receiver. But Jordan Grove reached back and made the catch. Then the ball comes out. And the officials had blown the play dead, negating that fumble recovery by Hutton.
A well-delivered ball by Brady Bowles, standing tall in the pocket, no pressure.
Down, control of the Bearcats, into the corner, first down.
Well, I don't know if he was down. The question is, did the whistle blow?
I think the whistle was blown. The officials are going to err on the side of caution when a guy is being held up like that. Nicely delivered ball, but you saw the clean pocket that Brady Bowles had to throw that football with. It's not very difficult to make a good throw with that type of protection.
One quarter complete in Maryville. The Bearcats over the Wolves 10-0 and on the march in the second quarter when you come back in this D2 semifinal matchup. great atmosphere here in Maryville. All I see is the Tiger Hawk, but there's a lot of green out there too with these Bearcat fans, and they enjoy quite a first quarter.
Fantastic quarter for the Bearcats. Potentially going to get even better at the start of the second quarter with this short field they have right now.
We saw that fumble at the end of the first quarter, not reviewable, even though the whistle appeared on a replay to come after the ball kicked loose. Phil Jackson, the carry on 1st and goal, inches closer to the goal line into the arms of Donahue.
Yeah, I thought the Wolves defense had stood Jordan Groves up, and the refs didn't want him to take another shot when he was essentially down by standing up. They're going to err on the side of caution and not allow him to take another shot. I think that was a good call by the officiating crew.
Both Jackson and Grove lined up in the backfield with Brady Bulls on 2nd and goal. Jackson will carry, cut back, hit hard, and throw him backwards. Kentrell Reynolds, one of those involved in the stop.
Phil Jackson is a load to tackle at 6 feet 223, but we see the Wolves defense stand him up and then end up knocking him back. Nice effort by them, particularly that defensive front 7.
Donahue may have been the first man to hit him. So it's 3rd and goal. Bearcats on the march, already leading 10-0, trying to cash in the fumble from Devontae Jackson. Bulls rolling, throwing, completing. Schieber, the tight end, with the touchdown. 16-0 Northwest Missouri State.
In the history of football, this is a classic red zone play. You roll your quarterback out, you give him 2 receivers. We'll see Groves at the goal line and Shavers at tight end in the back of the end zone. He goes for the back of the end zone. Shavers had gotten enough separation to make an easy throw. Another touchdown for the Bearcats. They're off to an incredibly hot start in this playoff game.
Schieber had not caught a ball all season. He has 2 today, including a touchdown. And Mathisen will add the extra points right into the scoreboard to make it 17-0 Northwest Missouri State.
Great call by Charlie Floor, offensive coordinator for the Bearcats. Gives his quarterback an option to run it or throw it. He throws it. 6 more points for the Bearcats.
17-0 Bearcats. Coach Adam Dorrell talked about not wanting to be predictable, using a lot of receivers. How about 7 different receivers have caught balls already?
How about Schieber, who hasn't caught a pass all season long? So if you're studying tape and you're the West Georgia Wolves, this guy hasn't caught a pass. You ignore him down the red zone thinking he's going to be a blocker. Next thing you know, he's catching touchdown passes. Great job by Coach Dorrell and his staff of involving lots of players who haven't had lots of stats so far this season.
Ben Truitt on the kickoff sends this one into the end zone. Jackson's hoping for a big play. Instead, he will get it up to maybe the 24 before he's thrown back by a host of tacklers. So the total yards really in line with the domination on the scoreboard, 180-19. And while West Georgia got their first down in their last drive, they also compounded the issue with the quick turnover.
They have to find a way to establish some offense. And at this point, we talked about them putting together a good drive. They need to find a way just to get another first down at this point.
Take the steps before you start to walk or run. And Coach Hall looking for something on that play sheet. Dallas Dickey has 4 wide receivers in the formation. But he'll go to the ground instead with Devontae Jackson. Look at him change directions. Brandon Yost, big nose tackle out of Omaha, was able to grab it.
For a run-first team like the West Georgia Wolves to go against the best run defense in Division I football with Northwest Missouri, it's just been tough sledding all afternoon. And even with a guy like Jackson who has the ability to cut back and make guys miss, they're still corralling him and stopping him for very short gains.
Yost with the J.J. Watt arm brace there first. Tristan Patterson cleaned up, gain of 4 in the play. Pocket crumbling. Dickey, a fluttering pass that was knocked loose, intended for a Walker. Good coverage on the boundary by Enyard. You're talking about a guy at Enyard that could be an NFL-type player, says his coach.
No separation, defensive back breaking so well on the football. Nice job by Bryce Enyard getting the hand in there to
stop the completion.
Well, Chad, it feels like a 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 8 all day for the Wolves.
It really, they're going to have a tough time in these types of situations. If they're facing 3rd and long, this pass rush in this front from the Bearcats is so good, it's going to make life very difficult for Dallas Dickey trying to pass the ball in these situations.
And again, crowd noise a factor here at Bearcat Stadium. There's Shaq Hall. Good hands, good catch. First down, Marcus Jones on the stop. Shaq Hall, more than 100 career catches, more than 1,200 yards in his career. That's a big body too, Chad. 6'3", 200 pounds.
It is a big receiver. We've seen Shaq Hall and we've seen Devontae Jackson involved. They have to find a way to get other players involved. Walker, who's really their big, deep threat, so far hasn't been involved in this ball game. Need to find more targets for these other guys.
Hall's catch went for a gain of 10. Little breathing room now for the Wolves. Up to the 38, but they need points. Dallas Dickey going deep. Somehow Walker got it in double coverage. Kevin Berg was there, but Walker came up with the football. This looked like it went through a defender.
We'll see the fake pitch rollout by Dickey. He just puts it up there, gives Walker a chance to go up and get it. Kind of undercuts the safety to get that football. Edward Ritchie was there to make a play on it. Walker undercut him, was able to make the grab. Huge play, momentum-changing play for the Wolves.
45 yards. I love the design. Maybe a little fortunate at the end. What a catch by Walker.
Well, Brent, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good.
It's worth 45. It doesn't matter, right? He'll take it. Now back to the ground, and look at that defensive play. Flying through is Brock Sherman, the team captain and a first-team all-conference performer.
Yeah, that's his 12th TFL for the season. They've got these front 7 players for the Bearcats. They have a lot of tackles for losses. They force fumbles. They are dynamic, explosive, and aggressive as a defensive front 7.
Chad, what are you seeing? Is it strength? Is it beating the offensive lineman off the ball, or is it vision?
I think it's film study. They certainly recognize and diagnose the plays really well, but then after that, they're just tremendous players who know what to do in a given situation.
Little fake reverse. Now Dickey running for his life, trying to get outside, and he was chased by Jared Bishop. His twin brother Jordan is a receiver on this team. There was a lot going on there for a short game.
Yeah, it was a double reverse. They were trying to sneak the tight end out. Bo Duggan out as the only receiver out, hoping he would get lost in that double reverse action. Again, the defense for the Bearcats diagnosed it and made the right play for that situation, covered him down the field.
So after that huge reception by Walker, again, it's 3rd and long, 3rd and 8. Shaq Hall, the lone wide receiver to the short side, the top of your screen. Dickey has 20 touchdown passes on the season. Went down low to catch the snap. Throws one towards the end zone. Hall fighting back. He went out of bounds. The official on the boundary threw his hat. Enyard was there on coverage. It's 4th down.
Nice job by defensive coordinator Rich Wright, going with some pressure, bringing 6 guys to pressure Dickey. We'll see him never really be comfortable in the pocket. And then on the back end, they went with man-to-man coverage, and no one got any separation for the Wolves to allow a easy throw for Dickey.
Will Garrett is the holder. He's the backup quarterback. Hunter Heck, 11 of 14 this year. Missed 2 last week. This is a 32-yard try. It's good, and the Wolves on the board. They needed points. Chad, they wanted 7, but they'll take 3.
Their offense finally got some rhythm going, ends that drive with 3 points, find themselves back in this ballgame.
(17-3) Northwest Missouri State. You see Bearcat Stadium sold out, and up on that facade you see all the national championships. 4 national titles, 8 appearances in the championship game. What tradition, what history here in Maryville.
11 consecutive playoff seasons. That is consistency. That is consistency at a very, very high level.
Keep going back to Will Hall's comment. He said, Northwest Missouri State, the Notre Dame of Division II football with their tradition and history. His team on the board. They'll give it back to the Bearcats. Down 17-3, and there's Bain. Ran into his own man and can't get past the 25. Thrown down by Harthon. Here's our quarterback numbers. We featured these two guys, Chad, in our open.
Yeah, Brady Bowles, we've seen him be consistent all game. Dallas Dickey, most of those numbers came in that last drive for him. Finally got the offense for the Wolves going. I think we've got a bit of a ball game now if the defense for the Wolves can step up and slow down the Bearcats.
That's the key. See if they can slow down Brady Bowles. His older brother Blake led Northwest to the 2009 National Championship as a quarterback. Back to the ground in Cameron Wilcox and knocked down after a very short gain.
Coach Hall talked about his team not being overwhelmed with this environment, playing at this level. And I think the first quarter, that was most likely the case. Now here in the second quarter, they've stepped up and played their best football of the ball game so far.
You know, it's a 47-degree day. It's a little bit overcast, rain on the way. Coach Doral wanted 3 degrees and snowing for these West Georgia players. He didn't get that home field advantage, but still a great place for the home fans as Harthon makes another tackle. And Coach Durrell looks at that massive play chart here on 3rd and 5. That's like the menu you used last night at the restaurant here in town.
Yeah, that menu was about 30 pages, almost as big as Coach's play sheet down there. But good first and second down run defense by the Wolves. Now they have to find a way to get off the field here on 3rd down, force an incompletion with Brady Bowles at the quarterback spot.
Important defensive sequence here for the Wolves. 3rd and 5. Bulls, time to throw. Jordan Grove there. Shot down, but he's beyond the markers. Vason went low to get him. But so valuable is Jordan Grove for so many different reasons.
He has been fantastic so far in this ball game. We've seen him as a lead point of attack blocker. We've seen him carry the football, pick up a 3rd and short that got the first down, and we've seen him catch the ball as well. Very, very versatile player, very valuable player as well for the Bearcats.
Needed 7, got 8, moved the sticks. Sean Bain, the man in motion. Handoff goes underneath to Phil Jackson. The running plays not getting quite the yards they did in the opening drive as West Georgia has been able to respond. That time Jeff Fullwood on the stop. Gain of 2. Bowles gets rid of that football quickly, and it was dislodged. Carlos Hutton got a hand on it. He had a pick 6 against Tuskegee last week and disrupted the pass intended for Schmidt.
Fantastic break on the ball by Carlos Hutton. Diagnosed the play. Brady Bowles did not look his receiver off, gave Hutton a clear indication where the ball was going. He broke on it, and as you said, almost got the interception.
Wolves couldn't get off the field in the last 3rd and 6. Now it's 3rd and 8 as Bowles will check his wristband and work from the pistol formation. Still waiting to see Bain get involved. Here comes the rush. Instead, the Wolves got him. Got the sack. Alex Arma, the first team all-conference end with the sack for Coach Hall's team.
We'll see Dylan Donahue come off the left side of the Wolves defense, force Brady Bowles to step up into the pocket. Once he forces him to step up, there's several Wolves there to make the sack. Nice 3rd down stop. This is the type of momentum this defense needs.
Matt Thorman on to punt. Telvin Brown back to return, and there's a snap that's going to go into the end zone. Thorman needs to get rid of it. Instead, he's going to throw a pass out of bounds. I thought Thorman might be content to take a safety. Instead, he picked it up in the back of the end zone and got rid of it.
What an incredibly smart play, though, because now he eliminates the possibility of safety. If he would have picked it up and took it out of the end zone, that would have been 2 points for the Wolves.
Incomplete pass. Number 6 was in the area. Legal play.
That's Randy Schmidt, the wide receiver, who was lining up as punter. What a heads-up play indeed. What could have been maybe a touchdown or a C. Results in a turnover on downs, but the football's at the 38.
Fantastic job keeping his wits about them in such a situation where we've seen there's those NFL Folly films are full of punters panicking in those situations and make terrible mistakes. That time he didn't. Alertly throws the football out of bounds, incomplete pass, saves his defense lots of field position, and also the possibility of giving up 2 points.
William Hurdle, the long snapper, they're saying forget about it, but I'm wondering why Randy Schmidt, the receiver, was lined up as the punter. But a big break for the Wolves. Dickey, a little bit of room to run here to the left, and he's popped out of bounds hard by Brock Sherman. Maybe a yard on the play. You're talking about a snap, though, Chad, that went 45 yards backwards and somehow doesn't result in that yardage on the change of possession.
West Georgia had a punt return call in, so they were not going after the punt to try to block it. There's only one guy who was kind of rushing the punter. Just, I guess, an unfortunate call for West Georgia. If they had gone with a punt block, there was a great chance they could have gotten a safety there or possibly a touchdown.
14 games into the season. We'll see if the Wolves emptied the bag of tricks today, right? You don't want to take anything to the offseason, especially down big. They'll go to the ground. Eris McCall, a freshman, with his first carry today. Volstead again there on the stop. There's 43 in green. 4-yard pickup, but here we go, 3rd and 5.
I was impressed with Volstead watching tape. I'm even more impressed seeing him live in person. His ability to seek out the football and be involved in virtually every play is just amazing to me.
He is a lot of fun to watch unless you're Dallas Dickey and the West Georgia Wolves. Shaq Hall, the receiver, to the bottom of your screen. Handoff goes to McCall and spun around and thrown down. Colin Bevins, defensive end from Creston, an Iowa State transfer, had 21.5 tackles for a loss this year, the man who wrapped him up and threw him back.
We've got a 4th down, and they have not put their punt unit on the field. Looks like they're going for it here.
Derek Seward checks in as the running back, getting the play call from Dickey because the Wolves didn't huddle up. 4th and 5. Here's where you need your senior QB to make a play. Dickey gets rid of that football. The catch is made by Jones. Spins out of a tackle into the Bearcat red zone. Janardrian Jones on the reception.
4th down, you need to be your calmest, play your best football. We'll see Dickey deliver a good football. And then Jones with the ability to break a tackle, get some yards after the catch. Nice catch and run after the catch by Jones.
15 yards, just his 11th catch of the year for Jones, the Macon, Mississippi native, but a huge play. Wolves confused. They run Ethan Slade on lane. May have to burn a timeout. A little bit of confusion offensively. Play clock at 3. They've got to go. And McCall paid the price. Brandon Yost, number 99, obliterated him at the line of scrimmage.
Yost is a fantastic front defender. The second leading tackler. When your defensive tackle is your second leading tackler. That time they try to get him with a wham block. He tosses the wham block to the side and then tosses the Wolves runner for a loss. A great by Yost. Recognizing if no one's blocking you and you're a defensive tackle, someone's probably coming from the side. He tosses that aside and makes a great play.
That's a strong man right there.
Yeah, 6'2", 290.
37.5 tackles for a loss in his career. Dickey has to throw one away, being chased by Grunlow. So just after the Wolves, Chad, get that important 3rd down conversion, just a couple of seconds later, they're facing 3rd and 11 again.
They continue to try to run the football, and this is the best run defense in all Division II. They're just going to have a tough time sledding. I know you want to, this is part of your playbook if you're Coach Will Hall. This is what you do. This is how you got here. They need to be a little bit more creative to fool this Bearcats defense. They are great and dynamic at stopping the run.
Bearcats fans in full throat on 3rd and 11. Dickey with trips to the left, looking in that direction. That pass was hot, intended for Jones. He had the step in the position, but Dickey couldn't hit him in stride, and he knows it. 4th and 11 coming up.
The Wolves need to be able to take advantage of these situations. A clean pocket for Dickey, no pressure, able to step into his throw. Jones gets some separation, but Dickey throws it high and behind him. That is a MOBP, a missed opportunity for a big play. They can't miss too many of those and still be in this ball game.
So Hunter Heck on for the field goal try of 36 yards. He's knocked one through. He gets his second. So points for the Wolves, but they haven't been able to find the end zone. 17-6, Bearcats with the lead. Back after this, it's at Maryville, Missouri. Coach Hall looking rather Bowden-esque with that sweater vest. His team just scored with a field goal. I'm sure they wanted a touchdown, Chad. Each team batting 1,000 on red zones. The difference is the touchdowns versus the threes.
Yeah, Western Georgia has to find a way to get 7 points and not 3 points. They've had opportunities. They've moved the ball, but they stall when they get down to the red zone. They figured out how to move the ball against this Northwest Missouri defense. Now they need to figure out how to score touchdowns against this Northwest Missouri defense.
Eric Autry to kick off for West Georgia. See if Foster or Bain gets a chance for a return. It is Bain from about the 12. Bain's on his feet. Boy, he took quite a shot at about the 30. Harthon there again on the stop. Boy, number 20 involved in so many plays, special teams, and from his linebacking position. Cleveland, Mississippi native. Junior on this defense that only gives up 14.6 a game. You've seen the Bearcats exceed that already. But it feels like, Chad, this defense playing a little bit better for West Georgia.
Not just the feel. The last 2 drives, they have certainly played better and been better on 3rd down. Now see if they can stop them from getting some points here late here in the 2nd quarter.
Going up top, there's Bain. And it was Vason there to grab him around the ankles after a gain of 19.
Brady Bowles is certainly a good enough quarterback where if you want to stack the box and try to slow down the rushing attack for the Bearcats, and you give your outside guys one-on-one coverage, he knows where to put the football and can make completions like that last play.
Big play just when it looked like the Wolves had a little bit of momentum. Bain again, tied up by Zed Brown. Good open field tackle.
Bain has been fantastic for the Bearcats throughout the playoffs and really all season long. He has thrown passes. It was an interception, actually, but he's been a big home run threat for them. We'll see 7 catches the last 2 games. A really productive player receiving the football for the Bearcats.
No gain on that previous play. Inside 4 minutes here in our first half, but there he is again. Bain took one shot, but unable to step out of the tackle. On coverage, Jeff Fullwood. Bain says first down, Bearcats.
Bain lines up on the left side. It's kind of a little slant route coming inside underneath the coverage. Knows where he needs to run that slant in front of the safeties. Turns his shoulders to show his numbers to his quarterback, Brady Bowles. Nice throw, nice completion. First down pickup for the Bearcats.
13 yards. They're inside the West Georgia 40. Bowles looking deep. Throwing that one into coverage intended for Washington. Marcus Sales had the inside position. It's been a relatively clean game, but there's a marker down. It's in the secondary, so to speak. Maybe a defensive hold. We'll find out from Bob Rose.
That's that area of the field where you're going to get that defensive holding right there as a receiver is trying to release off the line of scrimmage.
Holding defense, number 84.
Good call, Coach Brown.
10-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
Quentin Brown, a defensive end for the holding.
Yeah, Quentin Brown has a hold of the tight end as he's trying to release.
It's a good call.
Sometimes that's so difficult as a defensive end. Is he blocking me? Is he releasing? I'm not really sure what he's doing. Unfortunate call for Quentin Brown, but I think the refs did get that one correct.
You don't see many defensive ends getting whistled for a holding on a pass play. Back to the ground, Phil Jackson. A couple of hard-earned yards. Gabe Freeman, Calhoun, Georgia kid there on the stop, a gain of 4.
Quentin Brown also got in on that one. Sometimes after you commit a foul, let me just go hit somebody and get that bad taste out of my mouth. That time Quentin Brown jumped on the tackle and got an assisted tackle.
See the numbers for Phil Jackson. Chad, if you're the Bearcats, do you slow things down a little bit now inside 3 minutes and a half? Do you try and milk some of the clock?
I think you keep doing what you do offensively because you trust your defense. Their defense has got them into this position, and I think their defense can stand up for the rest of the half if they have to get the football back.
That play being strung out, and Jackson really has nowhere to go. And guess who was pursuing again? You see 84, Brown, trying to string out that play.
Phil Jackson is really the in-between the tackles runner for the Bearcats. So it's always strange to me when you see a guy like Phil Jackson try to take it outside. That's not what you do. Then we've got Cameron Wilcox, who's the outside guy who we've seen try to take it up in the inside. That's not what he does. Both these guys, I think, need to stick to their strong suits. Phil Jackson, Mr. Inside. Cameron Wilcox, be Mr. Outside.
Well, it's 3rd and 6 now for Northwest. Receivers bunched to each side. Bulls, time to throw. That pass is intercepted by the Wolves. Who got it? Marcus Sales. That is the 16th interception for this West Georgia defense. A physical pick, and Sales gets up slowly.
Sales' first interception of the year. Sales gets a nice jump on this football, and we can see Brady Bowles staring down his receiver. When you give a defensive back that much opportunity to know where you're going with the football, you make it easy for a defender to get a great jump, as Marcus Sales did, and come up with the interception.
We're going to step out. Sales with the pick. Made a big play for the Wolves defense. 17-6 our score, Bearcats. So important for this Wolves defense, mostly from blocking kicks. He got his interception, but Chad, watch the end of this play.
Great jump on the ball, gets the interception, but as he's being tackled, the entire body comes down. That left foot gets caught underneath. Those are a very painful injury. When the foot goes the other way, that's a typical ankle sprain. When it goes that way, that's a high ankle sprain. Usually knocks you out for the ball game.
Good news is he walked off, albeit slowly. Wolves got off the field without giving up points. Dallas Dickey throwing to his tight end Dugan. Marcus Jones on coverage. Out of bounds near the first down marker. We'll see if he's got enough. Maybe a yard shy. Clock stopped though, 1:55 and a half. We'll see how daring Dugan and these Wolves are here, trying to get some more points.
Alert play by Dugan to step out of bounds and stop the clock. I love it when college football players know the situation on the field and know what to do in each situation. Great job by Dugan.
Just his 2nd catch of the year. So we're seeing some guys with not a lot of numbers add to it today. 14 games into the season. Dickey going up top. Nearly an acrobatic catch by Shaq Hall, competing for position against Enyard. Maybe another split second after that separation, he might have had a chance to make a play.
Yeah, I think a little bit more loft on that football by Dickey, not such a line drive, would allow Shaq Hall to kind of use his body to create some separation, to give himself space to catch that football.
3rd and 1, and they don't want to give the football back. Devontae Jackson, the running back. Northwest defense gives up less than 2 yards a carry. They only need 1. Not sure Jackson got it.
I don't think they got it. With their defensive alignment, Northwest Missouri is really begging West Georgia to throw the football. There are 10 guys within.
Northwest Missouri. First charge timeout of the half will be a 30-second timeout.
There are 10 Northwest Missouri defenders within 5 or 6 yards of the line of scrimmage, which enables them to be a great run defense. So many guys so close to the line of scrimmage, but they are ripe for getting the ball thrown over their head.
Here's your bracket. We started with 28 teams. There were 4 17 pods. One team in each had a bye. Both of these teams did so. And the winner, of course, will go on to play Shepherd, a 34-32 winner earlier today at home against Grand Valley State. And Chad, the game next Saturday will be in Kansas City. There's so many alumni there for Northwest Missouri State. For years that game was held in Florence, Alabama. And there's a lot of Bearcat fans who have been kind of just penciling in that date just in case they get to go down the road to KC to play for a national title.
Yeah, it's just down the road. I flew into the KC airport to do this game. It's a little bit over an hour's drive. It would essentially be a home game for the Bearcats. What a fantastic venue for them to play that final game in if they could get the win here today.
Of course, the fans have turned out today. The students still on campus. Finals coming up, so they're not gone already for break. Most of those have taken their study break here at Bearcat Stadium. 4th and 1. And Dugan on the punt. He had a 70-yarder earlier. Special teams such a concern. That was a high snap, and the Bearcats force the turnover. Rishi, who had 5 blocks on the season, wasn't able to get the block, but got the pressure in the backfield when Dugan could not hold on to the snap.
Both coaches were concerned about getting kicks blocked. Neither one of them talked about their snappers snapping the ball over their punter's head. Great job by Dugan to corral it. Unfortunately was unable to secure the football. Stops it from going over his head. Can't secure it. So many guys coming on the punt rush for the Bearcats. He had no place to go with that football. Great job by the special teams for the Bearcats.
Bad day to be a long snapper. And it's not raining. Well, the Wolves got that interception. And just like that, the Bearcats have the football back, and Jackson nearly had a touchdown. Hutton chopped him down inside the 5. What a swing of momentum we've had in the last 2 minutes.
Yes, the 2 special teams errors allowed West Georgia to have a chance to think they could get back in it. And now the special teams error by West Georgia gives Northwest Missouri a great chance to walk away with another 7 points before halftime.
Jackson ripped off 8 yards. 2nd and goal from the 2. Grove, the fullback. Jackson will carry, trying to bounce outside, and look at the Wolves string up that play. Hawthorne again. And Jackson lost his hat. Number 20 having quite a game.
West Georgia sets the edge to the defense. A place for Jackson to go. Continue to string him out to the sideline. End up forcing him for no gain. Again, Jackson is the inside running back for the Bearcats. Once he tries to bounce outside, that's not his skill set. It's going to be difficult for him to do very much against this Wolves defense.
Good point, Chad. He ended up losing 4 yards, so instead of 2nd and goal from the 2, it's 3rd and goal from the 6. Coach Doro will spend one of his timeouts.
Second charge timeout a half. Be a 30-second timeout.
Let's go back in history. We'll look at the last 10 national championship winners in Division II football. Of course, Grand Valley State that lost earlier today. You go way back, but it's been spread out. Last one for the Bearcats, 2013, also 2009.
Yeah, in the 2014 win of the Colorado State Pueblo, I was talking to their coach, John Riston, who was one of my coaches at the University of Colorado when I was there at a high school banquet in Colorado just a couple of days ago. And he expects CSU Pueblo to be back in the mix for a championship again next season.
There's the national runner-up and national championships. And, of course, the playoff, a new thing for FBS football in the second year, a 14 playoff. These, FCS, Division II, this is old hat for these teams, playing 14, 15-game seasons. Almost an NFL-type schedule. Both of these teams, Chad, had byes. and this is the 14th game for both, hoping to play a 15th game next week for a title.
Yeah, between the two teams, they came into this game with a combined 1 loss. And that loss was a very close loss. So 2 of the best teams in Division II duking it out here today. And so far, the Bearcats are getting the best of the Wolves.
Officials stopping play with 32 seconds to go in our opening half. An entertaining half.
And this is a really big play in this ball game. This 3rd down here. The Wolves have a chance to limit the Bearcats to possibly just 3 points if they can convert the field goal and get a stop here. That would allow that special teams error to not be as painful as it potentially could be if they give up the touchdown.
Now, Phil Jackson lost his hat on that last play, and the timeout was used. There's probably a question on whether he can come back in the game. Of course, if you lose your helmet, you go out for a play, but if you use a timeout, I believe he's allowed to stay in, and that's what Coach Dora wants an explanation on. Good job by our officiating crew to make sure everybody's on the same page, because I think you mentioned the importance of this play really for both teams at the end of the half. Now Coach Hall wants his explanation, and he says, hey, let's just go. Let's play. You know, Coach Hall had a great line this week. He said this game is going to be a barometer for our program, a measuring stick, if you will. And they got down 7-0, 10-0 early. Had a couple of field goals since, but they really don't want to see the Bearcats find the end zone at the end of the half after a special teams breakdown.
Yeah, for Western Georgia to get the stop here.
When the helmet came off, the 10-second runoff rule became in effect. There'll be a 10-second runoff from 49 seconds to 39. Please reset the game clock to 39 seconds. 3rd down.
Well, it's really irrelevant. We've been looking at 32 seconds.
Northwest.
So even with the 10-second runoff, they'll have more seconds than what we thought they had. So 3rd and 6.
And for West Georgia to get the stop here, limits the Bearcats to possibly just a field goal, and then West Georgia gets the ball to start the 2nd half. This could give them a little momentum going into halftime.
Now I think the Wolves want a timeout. After all that, they watch the alignment. Coach Hall will burn one of his timeouts.
West Georgia. First charge timeout of the half. There'll be a 30-second timeout.
In coaching circles, that's called taking a Kodak moment. You allow the offense to come out, go into their cadence, see what the formation is, see what the personnel on the field is. Let's call timeout. Let's go to the sideline and talk about it now.
All right, Chad, then if you're the Bearcats offensively and you've shown your cards, so to speak, to West Georgia, do you do something completely different now in this 3rd and 6 play?
I would expect them to do, again, the history of football indicates there's going to be some type of rollout here to the wide side of the field. You give your quarterback the run-pass option. You give him a couple of receivers at different depths. Somebody at the beginning of the end zone, someone in the back of the end zone. They scored on a similar play earlier. That's what I would expect from the Bearcats.
Northwest Missouri State. Maybe one more shot at the end zone. Mathisen has 23 field goals on the year. That's a lot of field goals, but this man scored a lot of touchdowns. 1 touchdown pass, 1 pick. 3rd and goal from the 6 after a series of timeouts. Schmidt in motion. Bulls indeed rolling right. Heading for the pylon, and he will continue in for the score with a block downfield from George Seal. Boy, Chad, I didn't think he had enough room, but he got some help downfield and walked in.
They gave the indicator that they were going to roll to the left. The defense overshifted over there. They tried to throw to the backside. Bowles recognizes there's no edge to the pass rush, takes it in for the easy score. Smart, alert play by Brady Poles, but I really like the play call. Again, getting the defense think you'll go left, really try to bring it back to the right.
So the high snap and the turnover on downs results in a touchdown drive on a short field for the Bearcats. Mathisen's extra point makes it 24-6. Just an 11-yard drive, but they didn't have to go far, and Bowles capped it off with a touchdown run. Watch the block from Seal out there on the right side.
Yeah, Seal gets a fantastic block. Other than that, it's Bowles. We talked about Dallas Dickey and his ability to run the football. I think Brady Bowles, of the two quarterbacks rushing today, has clearly been the most effective and made the most of his opportunities with the football in his hand.
There's a senior. He has to win a national championship just to match his brother. That's a tough household.
You know, sibling rivalries run real deep. And Big Bro's got one on him. So now he's hoping to at least even the score.
Difference in total yards, 240 for the Bearcats, 88 for the Wolves, and yet the Wolves were in this game until that snap. They went for a turnover on downs. Bowles cashes it in for the touchdown. And you know Devontae Jackson wants a kick return for West Georgia to make a play through the fog here in Maryville. Truen to kick off. He's going to hit one a little bit shorter. Now Jackson in trouble. Nowhere to go. Drop shy the 15. Lucky to get that football back. We started our open talking about defense, Chad, and the Bearcat defense. Boy, they've made plays all day.
They really have. They have been super aggressive against the run, really limiting what the Wolves are able to do on offense because they're shutting down that run. Several guys in the front making tackles for losses, big hits. It's been an impressive performance by the defense that came into the game. I knew they were going to be impressive. They're more impressive than I even thought they would be.
Of their 88 yards for the Wolves, 46 came on that one pass play to Walker in double coverage. And the Wolves content to take a knee, even down 18 here at the end of the first half. They'll try and regroup in the locker room with Northwest Missouri State up 24-6. Dallas Dickey and company heading towards their locker room while the Bearcats head to their facility just outside the stadium. Bearcats 13-0, ranked either #1 or #2 coming in. Been impressive. West Georgia will get the football to start our second half, but good first half for the boys in green.
Absolutely great first half by them. A fantastic, really, first quarter. They got off to a hot start, forced some 3-and-outs against the Wolves. Certainly had the better of the game offensively and defensively.
Coach Adam Dorrell joins us from down on the field. Coach, your defense really was impressive again in this first half.
Yeah, they were, guys. Very proud of them. They played like that all year. I thought we're doing a good job. I think we could get a little bit better pass rush right now, but for the most part, doing a good job tackling, stopping the run, and making them make some tough throws on 3rd and long and 4th and long at least.
In the second quarter, it looks like the Wolves kind of figured some things out against your defense, ran the ball a little bit more effectively, made some pass plays. How do you get your defense to play more like the first quarter as opposed to the second quarter during the second half?
Yeah, we're going to go in and talk. I think we need to start doing a little bit different on some of the stuff we're doing on pass rush, trying to move Bevins around a little bit and Yost. Maybe trying to get them a little bit better matchup. They're doing a really good job of double teaming them on run and pass.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Coach Dorrell from Northwest Missouri State. His team leads West Georgia 24-6 at the half. What an atmosphere here today, Maryville, Missouri, for this D2 semifinal contest. Halftime continues here in Maryville, Missouri. Well, former Iowa Hawkeye safety Brett Greenwood continues to recover from a traumatic brain injury. He gives great inspiration to the 2015 team. Gene Wojciechowski has more. Northwest Missouri State leads West Georgia at the half. They get on Brett Dolden with Chad Brown. Great to have you with us. Entertaining first half. Coach Hall, though, what was your message to your team at halftime after letting that touchdown score late on that fumbled punt return?
Well, you know, to play as bad as we played and only be down 24-6 is actually a positive thing. You know, we gave them 2 scores. We didn't execute in the red zone, and just played really bad. Credit to Northwest Missouri for that. But we get the ball right here. We got to make it a 2-score game. We get it back to a 2-score game, then we're right back in it. And I think there's still a lot of football to be played. I don't think we'll quit. And hopefully we're going to play a lot better this half and put our best foot forward, because we did not play very well that half.
Coach, you got net -2 yards rushing. How do you establish some offensive continuity with those negative rushing totals?
Well, they're outnumbering us in the run game. We're probably going to throw it a little more, you know, and then try to open up some run. You know, they're just outnumbering us. We've had a few pass plays there. We've made a few plays, and then we dropped a few balls early, you know, or we would have, you know, that first third down, or kind of got the ball moving there. We just didn't play well all around, and we got to play better.
Coach Hall, thank you for your time.
Thanks so much, guys.
Very honest about his first half. We'll step aside. 24-6 our score. The Bearcats with the lead at the half.
West Georgia to get the football first here in our second half, down 24-6. Brett Dolan, Chad Brown, and Chad, I thought Coach Hall was very forthright talking about his team. They just didn't play well enough, and he needs points here early in the third quarter.
They really need to establish some offensive continuity, get some rhythm going. Their lack of production in the run game is really hampering the ability for Dallas Dickey to pass the football. Hopefully here in the second half they can get that rolling.
An opportunity for Jackson from the 5. Explosive speed, but he will not quite reach the 25 through the fog and maybe some light mist here at Maryville on an afternoon where it's in the 40s. The Wolves, though, will send Dallas Dickey back out there. The quarterback, the senior, just 5 of 12, 89 yards. Remember, he had one big shot of 45 downfield.
Yeah, the one explosive play of the 46 yards. Other than that, really limited offensive pass production. Again, this is a run-first offense, so they need to establish some run success to set up the play-action pass that has not been available to them today.
A team that averages 38 points a game going up against a defense that gives up less than 12 in the Bearcats. Pass towards the boundary. That's Quay Walker. He had the one big catch. They involve him early. Marcus Jones wraps him up. Gain of 9.
If they're going to establish some rhythm offensively, getting Quay Walker involved is really important. He is their true home run threat, and he can produce some explosive plays. When you're playing against a great defense like the Bearcats, it's hard to methodically move down the field. You need some explosive plays. They've gotten one from him early. They need another one.
Chad, here's a case 2nd and 1. Some teams like just to throw it downfield, figuring that yard's a layup on third down. It's not a layup against this defense. Curious to see if they go to the ground. They will not. Dickey scrambling, throwing one away. Now we'll see if they can pick up that 1 yard.
They tried to go with the play action, get the Bearcats to think run, hopefully to create some separation behind those linebackers biting forward to play the run. Bearcats played that really well, particularly back in the secondary. No open targets for Dallas Dickey to go with the football.
Bearcats on the sideline trying to get this crowd to make some noise. Great atmosphere here today. Earlier, though, it was 3rd and 1. The Wolves trying to run it, didn't get it. Same situation here on their opening drive, third quarter. Ahead of steam on the run for Devontae Jackson, pushing that pile across the 40 with a few extra shots involved.
When it comes to those short yardage situations, the Wolves do not have a big power back. For the Bearcats, they've got Big Phil Jackson at 223 pounds. Devontae Jackson is 165 for the Wolves. LaMarcus Franks, who's not active today, he's 150 pounds. Ayers McCall is 154, so they don't have a back over 200 pounds to pick up those tough yards.
Well, that was a determined run, though, of 7 yards, knowing that West Georgia has to stay on the field. Second trip to the D2 semifinals for the Wolves. Disposed of Tuskegee without any problem last week. Shoulder fake from Dickey. Dialed it up the deep ball. Got his man. Wide open. Telvin Brown. Touchdown. Second of the year for Telvin Brown, and what a time for it. 58 yards.
You knew it had to come with the Bearcats putting so many guys in the box to defend the run for the Wolves. At some point, they were going to have to go deep with the football. Clean pocket for Dallas Dickey. Great ball, allows Telvin Brown to run underneath that for the huge play. Puts them back in this ball game. Gives this offense some momentum here to start the second half.
4 catches all year, and number 5, a big one. Hunter Heck to try and add the extra point, and he'll do just that. West Georgia wanted points on their opening drive. They do just that on this bomb.
Clean pocket, throw it up there, let your fast guy run underneath it. Nice catch, 6 points, Wolves.
Wolves fans had to bring an extra jacket on their drive up here to Maryville, but they're enjoying that touchdown. They're right back in this game. Autry to kick off. First touchdown for West Georgia comes in their first drive on that bomb here in the third quarter. Bain and Foster deep for the Bearcats. And it is Sean Bain from the 6. And Bain will get pushed back before he can get to the 25. Talked a lot about Brady Bowles, the quarterback for the Bearcats. His first half, 13 of 19. And Chad, the one thing you're going to see from this pass chart, he really has success to both corners, left and right.
He's been the most consistent part of this offense. The run game has been there. He's allowed them to move the chains. Not spectacular numbers here today. Like, again, only 13 for 19, 124 yards. But again, moving the chains, the consistency and offensive rhythm coming from Brady Bowles.
Quick pass underneath to Washington. Jay Washington, he eliminated quickly. Very little gain. Vason there after maybe nothing on first down.
That football came out as he was being tackled. Luckily for the Bearcats, he was right there on the sideline. The ball went out of bounds. But this secondary is starting to deliver some shots to the receivers from the Bearcats.
Good point, Chad, because they're going to mark it where it went out of bounds. Actually a 2-yard loss on the play. Bowles scrambling, little cutback, and tackled from behind out of bounds. Pursuing it was Jason Carr, Memphis, Tennessee native, gain of 3.
Really nice job by the secondary for the Wolves. There was no place for Brady Bowles to go with the football, forced to scramble around, try to buy some time for one of his downfield guys to come open. No one was open, forced to keep it himself. Picked up a few yards, but certainly not enough, facing a third and long situation here.
Sean Bain with 4 catches leads the way. He lines up to the left. 3 receivers to the left side of the football field for Bowles. 4-man rush for the Wolves. Pass over the middle. Hot for Schieber, the tight end, on coverage. Fullwood. And the Wolves get their touchdown on their first drive and a 3-and-out on defense.
It's amazing what a big play does. It's more than just the sum of that play. It's the excitement, the momentum it creates. Even on the other side of the ball, we'll see the defense get a nice break on this football. A pass rush that was starting to come free and facing Brady Bowles, forced him to throw the football before we would have liked to. Again, a 3-and-out for the Wolves defense after the big play on offense. Momentum is now on the Wolves sidelines and not on the Bearcat sideline.
Matt Thorman has been removed from his punting duties. Remember the effort by Randy Schmidt earlier, maybe to save a safety. He will kick one away. It looks like it was touched closer to the 30. We'll see where it's eventually marked down. That's a wide receiver. Schmidt forced into punting duties. Coach Hall wants a better spot. Will step out. Bearcats 5-11. The NCAA Division II Football Championship presented by Northwestern Mutual. We're at Bearcat Stadium, Maryville, Missouri. 24-6 at the half. The Wolves got it first to start the third quarter, Chad. They took advantage.
They did. They got off to start throwing the football, forcing the Northwest Missouri defense to respect the throw, the pass. And then after a run, they follow this up with a huge bomb, which puts them back in this ball game and gave some momentum and life to their sideline and their team.
Telvin Brown on the receiving end of the Dallas Dickey touchdown pass, his 21st of the year.
If you're going to have success against this Northwest Missouri defense running the football, you have to force them to respect the pass first.
Bearcats ready to come after the Wolves here. Hey, a positive running play on first down before Cole Forney wraps up Devontae Jackson. Now over 1,000 yards on the season. Gain of 8 on the play.
Dickey almost equaling his first half yardage with that one big pass play here in the second half. Again, that big pass play forcing two safeties back now for Northwest Missouri, which will open up the run game and then allow the play action pass to happen after that.
First word that Coach Hall used to describe Dickey: winner. Coach's kid. That pass was incomplete, and I think Brown heard footsteps. Kevin Berg was in his grill.
Yeah, I think Telvin Brown certainly had some alligator arms on that one coming across the middle. But hey, that is the #1 defense in Division II, and I'm sure he's seen lots of receivers end up on the wrong end of running routes across the middle against that defense.
Coach Hall talking about close games, and he said in Division II, when you're really good, you don't get a lot of close games, and both of these teams are really good. And we're a score away from maybe being in one of those close games in the second half. But a huge 3rd and 3 here. Jackson competing for yards, and he is going to be a little bit short. Tristan Patterson maybe at the bottom of that pile.
I give Devontae Jackson a lot of credit to be 165 pounds. True freshman running into the toughest run defense in Division II. Picking up some tough yards. Unfortunately, that one just a yard short of picking up the first down.
And the punting unit coming on, and James Dugan. They're all-conference punter, All-American. Remember the last time, though, he was out there, Chad, he never got a chance to punt. The snap was 5 yards over his head, and it led to a touchdown.
Yeah, he did a great job with one hand kind of tapping it and allowing himself to recover it and preventing the Bearcats from recovering the bout snap. But
timeout, West Georgia. First charge timeout of the half.
We hate to burn
full timeout.
One of your 3 timeouts in the first half. This was the punt near the end of the first half.
Yeah, he does an incredible job just to prevent that from going over his head. But
correction, will be a 30-second timeout.
He was unable to corral it in enough time to get the punt off, set up a short field, which led to a Northwest Missouri touchdown right before the half.
Each team had one of those issues. The Wolves scored 3 points after what looked to be maybe a potential safety or touchdown on a heads-up play by the backup punter Randy Schmidt. But that one, that mistake, that snap that went over the head of Dugan, ended up resulting in a touchdown run from Bowles. Otherwise, this would be a 4-point game. Dugan averages more than 40 yards a kick. He's had one of 70 today. Sean Bain back at his 10. Wolves missed out on a yard of moving the sticks. Dugan, the left-footed punter. Bain with a fair catch at about the 11. ESPN's NCAA championship coverage continues next Saturday with the D2 championship game on ESPN2 at 4 p.m. For more information, go to ncaa.com. It's the official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. And here's your bracket. Grand Valley State had a chance to go for 2 at the end, didn't get it, was unable to convert the onside kick, and they lose to Shepherd by 2.
I'm sure next week will be a fantastic ball game, but we got one here first we got to take care of.
Phil Jackson carries on first down for the Bearcats, backed up at their 11. First ever meeting between these two teams. Northwest Missouri State out of the Mid-American Collegiate Association. 8-1 all time in semifinal playoff games. But perfect here at home. That one loss came in Duluth. And the defense stiffens for the Wolves. It's Wayne Williams.
West Georgia's run defense has really stepped up. After giving up 116 yards in the first half, now they're starting to get penetration. Now they're starting to push the Northwest Missouri offensive line back and get tackles for loss like that. So again, that momentum, that big play seems to have sparked this defense, particularly this defensive front for West Georgia.
3rd and 8. Bowles trying to keep his offense on the field. Gets rid of that ball quickly, but his pass was wide of the mark, intended for Grove on the boundary. 4th down.
pressure in the face of Brady Bowles, forced him to throw that ball before Jordan Groves was into his route. Ball too early, couldn't get his head around, forces the incompletion due to the pressure from that front of West Georgia.
Coach Dorrell's thrown on that stocking cap here in the second half. And again, it's Randy Schmidt on the punt. Pretty good effort here. Fair catch is called for and made by Telvin Brown. 9:25 to play in our third quarter. Wolves with the football. Bearcats with the lead, up by 11. From foggy Bearcat Stadium, Maryville, Missouri. Northwest portion of the state.
A little bit of rain starting to hit the glass here in our booth. We'll see if the ball starts to become slick. Could be an issue as the game goes along.
Dickey trying to scramble. Being chased by Grunlow. Lets one fly incomplete.
Each team brings 12 balls to the ball game. 6 were used in the first half. Now there's 6 left for the second half. But if this slight sprinkle turns into a heavier downpour, we'll see those balls become slicker and slicker, and ball handling and ability to strip the football will become more important as the game goes along.
Got to keep those footballs dry on that West Georgia sideline. 2nd and 10. Last week, the defense for the Bearcats gave up 2 long passes to Emporia State. We've seen a couple here for the Wolves, one for a touchdown. Devontae Jackson trying to get some positive yards. He's into Bearcat territory, out of bounds to the 47. Kevin Burke pursuing, but that's a gain of 9.
That's what Devontae Jackson does best, is not pour it up to through the middle of the offense and run into the teeth of that Bearcats defense, but ability to make guys miss, bounce it outside, use his speed rather than his 165 and then try to pose his will on tacklers.
Chad, the last 2 times we've seen 3rd and 1, the Wolves haven't been able to get it. Do you think this is 2-down territory?
It seems a little bit early for that. They're still within striking distance. Looks like they're going to motion out of it and pass the ball here with Dallas Dickey to try to pick up the first down.
Dickey will try and purge forward. He's got the first down. That's Will Garrett, the backup quarterback. And oftentimes when he comes in, it's for that purpose, to run the football. Gain 6.
This is a design quarterback run. The guard will pull. Will Garrett takes it, follows like that pulling guard, cuts off his block, picks up the first down. And rather than hand it to a 165-pound tailback, give it to your 200-pound backup quarterback. He's got a better chance of picking up that 3rd and 1 situation.
You see Dallas Dickey right back in. Garrett with that Tebow-esque run moves the sticks. They're down to the Northwest 40-yard line. Shaq Hall, the man in motion. Low snap. Dickey steps into a throw. He's got a man open. He's got himself a touchdown. Quay Walker. His 10th of the season. It came from 40 yards. We've got a game.
The defense and the defensive coordinator for the Bearcats kept rolling the dice by not having a lot of guys deep back in the secondary. Another great throw by Dallas Dickey, puts it at the very back of the end zone. Quay Walker kind of measuring himself, making sure he can still be in bounds and make the grab. He is the big play guy. Another big play by Quay Walker, but another great throw on the deep ball by Dallas Dickey.
You could tell with the body language, Dickey knew when he let that go, he had 6. Now keep in mind, we do have a replay official today, different than most D2 games, and I think that touchdown was upheld before Hunter Heck comes on to try and make this a 4-point game. It was 24-6 at the break. It's 24-20. Let's watch this throw one more time on the touchdown to Quay Walker.
First drive of the second half for West Missouri, touchdown, huge bomb. Now another huge bomb and explosive play, which that momentum sparks the defense, gets the sideline excited. They deserve to be excited. They have fought their way back into this ball game as West Georgia.
First year in that program for Quay Walker, and you see his numbers today. Chad, he came in with 30 catches on the year, but 9 for touchdowns. You talk about a ratio from catches to big plays. There aren't many better than him.
A averaging 22 yards per catch, along the 66, 2 big ones here today. We knew coming to the game he was our home run threat, and he's proven that to be true.
So now the Bearcats in a position they haven't been in much today, where they need to do something on offense because Big Mo momentum has shifted to the visiting sideline. 24-6 at the half now, 24-20.
Now there's life on the West Georgia sideline. They're bouncing around, and the Northwest Missouri sideline is still in flat.
Autry with a booming kickoff through the raindrops, perfectly angled to the sideline where it's collared by Bain, leaving him only the boundary, and yet still he's able to motor across the 30-yard line. So reasonable field position for the Bearcats. But Chad, what does this Northwest offense need to do to kind of get back in their rhythm?
Well, we talked about it in the first half, but we were talking about Western Georgia. Find a way to pick up a first down, not get the 3 and out, have some offensive rhythm. So far in the second half, no rhythm at all offensively for Northwest Missouri.
Three yards here in the second half. Targeted is George Seal, and Seal steps out of a tackle and races into Wolves territory.
George Seal is normally the third down possession type receiver for Northwest. This time catches a pass on the sideline, makes a guy miss, 2 guys miss. It kind of tight roads down the sideline. Not the type of athletic play you would expect from your possession receiver.
They marked him out of bounds at his own 45, so these last few yards do not count, but still able to move the sticks for Steele. It was a gain of 12. Bowles down the seam. His pass was hot for Grove. Grove was open and Bowles knows it.
That's another one of those MOBPs, those missed opportunities for big plays. Each game, offensively, defensively, and special teams, there's going to be 3 to 5 opportunities for big plays. You want to take advantage of those. That time, due to the hurried pass from Bowles, they were unable to take advantage of that.
So 2nd and 10. Jackson competing for yours. First down yardage and more. Gabe Freeman went for a ride. 16-yard pickup. Jackson lost his hat, not very happy about it.
Jackson coming right at us, right into the camera, cuts back again, makes guys miss, running through tackles.
Ooh, a little shove there at the end.
Yeah, loses his helmet, but man, Jackson is running hard.
Lost his headband and his helmet. He'll come out for a play. Something struck me in our conversation with Coach Doral the other day, Chad. He said, at this time of the year, some people play not to lose. We play to win. We'll find out how daring they want to be now, trying to extend this lead again that's been cut to 4. Bowles has been going to the air, and that's a great hands catch by Shane Williams, the Missouri kid. Said Brown there to wrap him up. Gain of 8.
For West Georgia, when we talked to Coach Will Hall about their defensive philosophy, they want to stop the run and don't give up big plays. So these underneath passes that Northwest Missouri is catching right now, they don't ever want to be in a position where they're throwing the ball over the Wolves' head. So the Wolves are going to allow that stuff to happen, thinking that Northwest Missouri won't be patient enough to dink and dunk down the field. Eventually they'll try to go deep and put themselves in a bad situation.
Cameron Wilcox checks into the left of Bowles on 2nd and 2. A lot of movement from Bowles, shoulder fakes, twisting and turning and throwing one out of bounds intended for Washington. He provides a lot of different looks with the way he turns his body and shakes his shoulders a bit.
He has the ability to move the safeties and the cornerbacks with his body positioning, but we've also seen a number of passes today where he stares down his primary receiver and allows the defensive backs to get a break on the football. And in fact, his one interception today was because he stared down a receiver.
Jackson back in. He'll actually go out in motion on 3rd and 1. Jordan Grove trying to pick a hole, keeps those feet churning, and the second effort got the first down.
Most versatile player, most valuable player. You can put a lot of titles on top of Jordan Grove, but I think you got to put determined on top of that as well. This run clearly demonstrates it. Fighting for those tough yards, spins out, picks up a couple of more yards. I think about 5 more yards at the end of that run due to that spin move.
Adel, Iowa native, and that's the hometown going way back of one Niall Kinnick. Stadium named after him in Iowa City. They recruit from really several states around the region to these Bearcats. They stay in the field, a 1st and 10. Nearing the red zone. All 14 points in the second half scored by West Georgia, and Phil Jackson eliminated by Freeman almost immediately. No gain. Freeman, a second-team all-conference performer, started the day with 55 tackles.
How about the toughness and resilience of both of these teams for West Georgia to fight their way back into the ball game, now for Northwest Missouri to kind of fight back and respond back to the 2 big plays from West Georgia. Fantastic ball game so far.
Here comes the rush over the middle. Pass was too high for Bain. Boy, talk about a guy that's upset. He knew he had the inside position and the step.
West Georgia brought a blitz, left the open of the middle of the field wide open. As you said, Brent, Bain got inside the defender for West Georgia. Unfortunately, just a little bit too high and a little bit behind was that throw from Brady Bowles.
Bowles tapped his heart a couple of times when Bain came back towards him saying, my bad, I know I missed you. But now it's 3rd and 10, and they might be really on the extreme of field goal range as well. Different formation here, everybody bunched up. Pass is caught, complete to Shane Williams. 1st down, Bearcats. 14-yard pitch and catch when Northwest needed it most.
We've seen Brady Bowles miss a couple of open guys. This time he throws an incredible dart into a lot of traffic. So he certainly has the ability to be accurate when it's called for.
Huge pickup to stay on the field. Clock inside 5 minutes in the rolling 3rd quarter. Bearcats at home, leading by 4 on the march. And Bowles will be hit by Alex Arma from Decula, Georgia. And he falls forward for 2.
Yeah, one of those planned quarterback runs. It was actually designed to go all the way outside. I think Bowles sensed the defender kind of setting the edge, decided to cut it back inside, but there was no place to go with that football on the inside of that Wolves defensive interior.
2nd and goal from the 8. Jackson working off the left side of the line. He ran into the arms of big Jason Carr for 2 or 3 more.
Really well called drive. We've seen a lot of balance between run and pass on this drive. Targeted a number of different receivers.
Coach Doral with the stocking cap on. He says we talk a lot about legacy around here. The kids don't want to be the team that doesn't win a championship. They want a championship to be their legacy. They need a win to advance to that game. Bowles fighting forward down at about the 1. Wrapped up by Freeman from behind. He almost lost the football too.
He was extending for the goal line, trying to get the ball over the goal line. As you said, almost lost it. Now they're facing a 4th down situation. And it looks like they're going to keep the offense on the field.
What is it about these teams in green trying to extend for the end zone? It worked for Michigan State last week. Bowles almost turned it over.
And Jordan Groves is in the game at that fullback spot. You have to know that, I think, keep your eye on him. The ball will be somewhere around where he is going to be my guess.
I think you're right. Grove with a carry, and he is not going to get it. The Wolves defense makes a play and a turnover on downs.
It turns out the Wolves actually watch tape too. And Jordan Groves, they know he's going to be either the lead blocker or part of the run game. This time they motion Jackson out of the backfield, leaving Jordan Groves as the only runner. It became obvious that's where they're going with the football. The Wolves sniffed it out.
Zed Brown, one of those guys there. You see number 3 involved, but there's a lot of help.
Yeah, there's a swarm of Wolves, a pack of Wolves around that ball carrier there.
That's a happy pack on the sideline. Look at the smile from Wayne Williams. He could have been a starter at Syracuse, but a big part of this defense for West Georgia. West Georgia glad to have the football back. They're down just a score, but you see Dickey lined up in his end zone. And it's an empty set. That's Garrett. Garrett back in. And this is where you need him to make a couple of yards with feet. See if he stays in, Chad.
Yeah, the same play they ran on the last drive to convert the third down for the first down. This time trying to give themselves a little bit of breathing room off the goal line so they can operate their normal offense.
Both hometown products. Dickey back in replacing Garrett. 2:20 to play, quarter number 3. 14 third quarter points by the Wolves, and they're right back in this game. But after that defensive stop, bad field position. Another determined run by Jackson, just little running room available. Really been kind of a tale of two halves for these Wolves. You go back to the first half, there were some mistakes with those big plays.
Yes, the special teams era, allowing the quarterback to get outside of the pocket and pick up the touchdown. But then they fight back here in the second half with these two huge bombs. That's the first one. Here's the second one. Both really well delivered balls from Dallas Dickey.
Brown the first catch, Walker the second. Marker down, and instead of 3rd and 5, the Wolves will be backed up.
False start, offense, number 38. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Didn't even look like West Georgia was set up yet. And by the way, there's Noah Brown, the tight end. He wonders what he did. It's enough to get him to come off the field, because now it's 3rd and much longer. Football marked back at about the 3.
Yeah, it went from a 3rd and about 4 to now a 3rd and 8. Much more difficult situation against a really stout defense, the Bearcats. And again, they're showing pressure. Looks like they're going to bring 6.
Dickey throwing from his end zone, took a hit, back shoulder throw, and it's knocked away. Intended for Shaq Hall. And you're there to disrupt it.
And
Coach
now,
Hall not happy.
This is the situation. We've talked about both teams and their abilities to block punts. Before we get to that, you see the pressure kind of collapse that pocket around Dickey. Had to throw the football before he was actually ready. But both these teams have guys who can get after punters and block punts. With the short field, this is a possibility of that happening here.
There's Richie. He's blocked 5 this year. Let's keep an eye on number 3, because Dugan standing at the back of his own end zone. I'm not sure how you block 5 in a career. He's got a good shot to get in there, and that punt is shanked. It'll take a bounce. Bain will pick it up. And the play blown dead. Did Bain maybe signal for a fair catch before he ran up to make the...
Or was he trying to scoop it and got a knee down as he was trying to shortstop that ball?
Richie nearly got there.
Yeah, West Georgia very, very lucky to get that one off. This time, instead of snap being high, I'm sure the snapper said, don't be high, don't be high. And now he was low. So he's got a little case of the yips going as a snapper.
West Georgia got up the field, unable to get the first down. Bearcats had the football back in West Georgia territory. Pistol formation with Jackson, the running back. Play fake from Bowles. He wants it all in one shot. Well overthrown. Hutton was the closest man there. Bain not within 15 yards. I want to see the Bearcats take a deep shot.
That was Brady Bowles, I think, throwing that one away. But sometimes, even if you just do a throwaway and you throw it away deep, again, you force those safeties to respect the deep ball, which then can open up the running game and the play action game, because those safeties are going to feel the pressure to play deep.
2nd and 10, Bowles will run. Bowles will be flipped. Hit hard by Laranji Vason there from his corner spot. maybe a gain of 1.
Yes, if Vason doesn't make that play, Bolles has a chance to go for a really long gain. Quentin Brown, the defensive end, fell inside. There was no edge to the defense, but again, a great job by Vason getting the stop.
He's played big all game.
For a guy who's 170, that's saying a whole lot.
5'10", sophomore out of Montgomery, Alabama. 3rd and 9. We're inside 30 seconds to play in our third quarter. Bearcats have not scored in the second half. Bolles threw that up. It was tipped. Hutton got a hand on it, nearly picked. Intended for Williams. Brown nearly got it off the deflection.
Chris Rabb, the defensive end, puts pressure on Bolles. Again, forced to throw it a little early. Can't step into it like he would like to. The ball sails a little high. Hutton almost comes down with the interception. We've seen a completely different defense here in the second half for West Georgia than we saw particularly in that first quarter for them. They were not very good then, much better now.
Randy Schmidt forced to punt again. Telvin Brown will not have a chance to make a play. Great punt though. Takes a U-turn inside the 10. We'll see where it's marked. At about the 8. So the field position better for West Georgia, but that's grading on a curve here compared to their previous drive, when they started from the 2.
West Georgia still hasn't taken the ball and methodically driven it down the field. Their scores have come from big plays. They were backed up their last drive. They're backed up again on this drive. It's hard for me to imagine them reversing that trend here. I can see them trying to go for a big play. We'll see if the Bearcats defense is up for that.
Dallas Dickey in the offense. Back on the field from the 8-yard line. Bearcats pride their program on tradition and defense, and this is where the defense has a chance to make a play. Dickey from his end zone, letting one fly out of bounds. Still one more play left in our third.
Dickey had his eye on Shaq Hall the early part of the play, but when Shaq was able to separate, he had to look to the other side of the field, and no one was open over on that side of the field either.
See if Dickey can hit a big one to at least get his team out of the shadows of their end zone on this foggy afternoon, turning into night here in Missouri. Jackson bounced off the first wave of tacklers, but not the second. Brandon Yost, the Omaha kid, threw him down. You see the hands signifying quarter number 4. We're about to flip the field and come back with the Bearcats up by 4. Coach Will Hall told us before we started the second half his team did not play very well in the first half. Wanted a better effort, better results in the third quarter. And Chad, he's gotten.
He's absolutely gotten that. The big plays. We'll see the numbers. They were down 24-6 at the end of the first half. Fought their way back into the ball game, only down by 4, and that's really behind those explosive plays from the West Georgia offense.
But as we start the fourth quarter, a 3rd and 7 if the Wolves want to stay on the field. Dickey back. He's got a man downfield. Was Walker in bounds? The officials will confer. Yes! Catch at the 46.
Quay Walker has been the big play guy all night. Another big play here. Makes the grab on the sideline, gets the knee down before the rest of his body rolls out of bounds. Looks like he's got the football secure and the leg is down. Was that foot out of bounds as he was coming down?
On that previous angle, I thought it was in.
Review.
Our replay official will take a look under the advisement or the encouragement from Adam Dorrell. On that first look, I thought Walker got that foot in just enough. How about that sportsmanship from Walker and Coach Dorrell?
The ruling on the field is a catch. It's under further review.
We see the knee come down, but the question is, does the knee come down before that foot hits down out of bounds?
Right here.
The knee is down. The foot is inbounds before it rolls out of bounds. He clearly has the football
That's a catch,
secured.
right?
I'm going to say this is a catch and will not be overturned. And again, they went with a catch on the field, and I'm not seeing enough evidence from this replay where that's enough to overturn this call.
That's a toe. I love it. Look at him just graze that toe inbounds right there.
Yep. Then the knee comes down, and he clearly has secured the football to his chest with his left hand.
What a catch from Quay Walker, who had the touchdown earlier. And I love the sportsmanship, shaking hands with Coach Doral on the sideline.
Hey, when you see a player make a great play and you're a football coach, you may not be happy it's against your team, but it's a great play. Congratulations, young man. Now get out there and don't do that again.
35 yards. The play will stand from what we understand. And the first play here in the fourth quarter. Think about how big that is.
The play calls as stands. Completed pass. First down, West Georgia.
If that's incomplete, Chad, West Georgia's punting from their end zone. Instead, they're up at the 46.
Just look at this athleticism as he comes down with this football. The catch, the roll, understanding where your body is in space. Quay Walker has stepped up big here in the second half for the Wolves.
This was a 24-6 game at the half, and the Wolves are one big play away from taking the lead. It was 17-0 right out of the gates. Through the fog of the mist here in Maryville. Dallas Dickey with that play clock winding down needs to go. It's inside 5. Is there movement? Dickey maybe anticipating a flag, will take off. There's the dual threat ability from the Wolves QB.
Wow. Clearly looked like a broken play. I thought I saw some movement, particularly from Devontae Jackson, the tailback. He seemed to be edging forward before the snap. We'll see him kind of bouncing around back there. Dickey says, hey, you guys aren't ready to play? I'm going to take this thing down this left sideline, and picks up a huge gain.
21 on the pickup. You see Jackson earlier, he just stopped on the play.
A lack of communication between those two, but it ends up in a very big play for the Wolves.
And now Jackson will fly into the heart of that stout defense. Brandon Yost on the bottom of that pile, but it's a gain of 4. A good play on first down.
I thought the big play to Quay Walker was just enough for them to flip the field if they're forced to punt. Now this drive is continuing. They've got a chance to put some points on the board.
Through 3 quarters, Dickey was just 8 of 20 through the air. Hit that big shot to Walker. Had the big run of 20 plus. And his team at the 29 of Northwest. 2nd and 6. Brown in motion. The left-hander's going to throw. He's got Shaq Hall. Shaq Hall's inside the 10. That might have been the ugliest beautiful pass of the year.
Wow. Hey, when you're in the playoff situation, you're in the semifinals, like Will Hall in West Georgia is, you dig deep into that playbook. And that time the pass by Telvin Brown was just that. One of those trick plays in the very end of the playbook, but it was successful.
That thing was fluttering and floating. It went for 20 plus. One time down 17-0 in the game. West Georgia with a touchdown would take the lead. Different looking formation for West Georgia. Flying forward is Jackson. Let's watch this previous throw. Again, maybe the ugliest beautiful play for West Georgia.
We'll see Telvin Brown coming around on the reverse. Throws up almost a sky hook, a left-handed sky hook from his left sideline. But hey, it was good enough to get the completion and put them down in the red zone.
Kareem wouldn't have been prouder. 2nd and 5. Telvin Brown caught a touchdown, threw one. See if Jackson carries again. Low snap. In the backfield is Brock Sherman. And the team captain from Nebraska with a big TFL.
You had to know that Rich Wright, the defensive coordinator for Northwest Missouri, was going to dial up a blitz at some point, try to create a big play. Brock Sherman delivers that. Brock's going to come off the left side here, follows the tight end kind of going in motion. easy play. No one to block. Brock Sherman ends up with the tackle for loss.
One of the most incredible numbers of two teams with incredible stats. The defense for Northwest allows conversions on third down just 22% of the time. It's 3rd and goal. Little trickery. Brown, is he going to throw again? Running for his life and tackled for a loss by Ritchie. The punt block specialist with a big TFL again.
There's a reason why those plays are in the back of the playbook, because you shouldn't call them very often. You shouldn't go to the well very often. This time went to a very similar play, that reverse look, the handoff or the pitch to Telvin Brown. Looks like this time Northwest Missouri has clearly diagnosed that play. We saw West Georgia step up in the red zone and get a stop. Now we've seen Northwest Missouri respond back in kind.
A loss of 8. Hunter Heck is going to have to kick this one through the fog and the mist. A 33-yard try. Nearly blocked. Good again. We've got ourselves a 1-point game with 10:37 to go. What a ball game from Maryville, Missouri. Don't go anywhere. Nolan and Chad Brown enjoying the Hunter Heck out of our trip to Maryville, Missouri after Heck added the field goal. Here you go, Chad. These two teams separated by 2 yards total offense, with the Bearcats leading. They're separated by 1 point with Northwest in front.
Yeah, the 17 unanswered second half points by West Georgia. Again, came out at halftime, made the adjustments, decided to throw the ball over the heads of Northwest Missouri, really sparked their offense here throughout the second half.
Autry's kickoff will land at about the 3. Been waiting for a big play today from Sean Bain. He's trying to make one, but he won't reach the 20. Take another look at our brackets. We started the day with 4 teams remaining in Division II. What a ball game at Shepherd. Grand Valley State went for 2, didn't get it. Tried the onside kick, unsuccessful. Shepherd awaits the winner of this game next week in Kansas City. And there's a few Bearcat fans, Chad, when it was 17-0, probably beginning to make their travel reservations.
Yeah, they were on their iPhones mapping the 90 miles out to make that trip. A little too early, my friend.
Brady Bowles dumps down to Wilcox. Nice play design. Better effort by Wilcox to the boundary and out of bounds to the 32. And the officials get between Singleton and Wilcox. The emotions of a playoff game coming out. And there's a man down for West Georgia.
Yeah, he went down and has not moved since he's gone down.
You can almost hear the coaches talking to their players about stopping on the sideline. We'll step out with 10:23 to play. Great ball game. Northwest Missouri State up by a point. Good news, bad news for West Georgia. The good news, their talented safety, Carlos Sutton, walking off the field under his own power. The bad news, he's a bit dinged. And here's the previous play on the run from Wilcox. That's a scary sight, Chad.
Yeah, led with his helmet. Probably ended up getting a stinger, a little bit of a neck nerve injury there.
Trickeration not working out for the Bearcats. Randy Schmidt, who threw one away as a punter at the back of his end zone to save a huge field flip, had nowhere to go. He lost 7.
Yeah, that was going to be a reverse pass as well. But this time the defense sniffed it out. There was a receiver downfield, but he fell down. No place for Sutton to go with the football. Both coaches going to those back pages of the playbook, and the last couple of tries haven't worked out for either one of them.
Laranji Vason with that big play to force a 2nd and 17. Bowles more than 30 passes again attempted this year. He'll go back to the ground to try and get not only the lost yardage back, but about 10 in all. Every game this year, save one, Bowles has thrown the ball more than 30 times, but right there just trying to scramble.
No place for Bowles to go with the football. Forced to scramble. Did a great job. Got most, like you said, most of that yardage back and put them in a makeable 3rd down situation.
3rd and 6. Schmidt, the man in motion. Bowles looking downfield. Incomplete, intended for Williams, and the Wolves get off the field. They'll get the football back, down 1.
Not a whole lot of pressure in Brady Bowles' face. He had plenty of room to step up, plenty of vision to see where his receiver is, but for the most of the second half, when he misses, he's been high with the football.
You're exactly right. Now, Randy Schmidt, not even the true punter, needs to get a good one off here. A low kick. See if Telvin Brown plays the bounce. He won't have a chance. The football dies at the 21 with 8:52 to play in our game. Wolves will have the football when you come back, down just 1 at Maryville. The NCAA Division II Football Championship is presented by Northwestern Mutual. Drizzle, light mist falling here in Maryville, Missouri. At one time, this was a 17-0 Bearcat lead. West Georgia, they've done all the scoring here in the second half. They're down by a point. They will start from their own 21. Running yards have been tough to come by, so Dickey trying to dial up another deep one. No flag. Walker gets up wanting maybe interference from Ritchie. No call. Triple coverage on the play.
This is what we call an all block. Quay Walker was the only receiver downfield. They left 10 guys in the block to make sure Dallas Dickey had a clean pocket and enough protection to launch this deep football. Bearcats had Quay Walker in triple coverage, no place for him to kind of maneuver in between them and catch that football.
That's a good no call, I think. Berg just collided with Walker a little bit, but both going for the football. 2nd and 10. Now Jackson trying to bounce outside, and there's that stout Bearcat defense rising up with Kevin Berg, the junior out of Kansas City, making a play. They build this program of championships around their defense. And as we look at what West Georgia has done offensively, Walker's had the big game. Dickey's had a couple of touchdown passes. This is where this defense, the boys in green, need to rise up.
They absolutely do. And we said Berg do that at Division II All-American candidate, coming to the game with 8 interceptions, but also making some good plays today in the run game.
3rd down and 7. Bearcats bringing the house. Dickey has a lot of running room. Nobody there on the boundary. An easy pickup of the 1st down.
That 1st down pickup was really allowed by the great block by Devontae Jackson. There was an unblocked Bearcat coming in on Dallas Dickey. Jackson makes the block. Dickey's able to get outside the pocket and pick up the 1st down. Kudos to the young freshman at only 165 pounds. He's putting his whole body into some of these blocks and proving to be very effective.
13-yard pickup for number 13, who moves the sticks. Just 4 first downs in the entire first half. A much better offensive effort here in the second. Pressure coming again. Dickey had Hall downfield, but with a pump fake, he'll get more positive yards. And he steps out at about the 39. He gets 5 on 1st down.
If you're Rich Wright, defensive coordinator for Northwest Missouri State, you sure would hope that Brock Sherman, your senior linebacker, doesn't fall for the pump fake. Falls for the pump fake, allows Dallas Dickey to get outside the pocket and turn that from a potential loss into now facing a 2nd and 5 situation.
Clock rolling again, nearing the 7-minute mark to go in regulation. 1-point game, Wolves with the ball down 1 on the road. Dickey has a man open. He was on his knees, but his catch is good enough for the 1st down. It's Telvin Brown, who had a touchdown earlier. Sticks move again for West Georgia. Chad, this defense for Northwest giving up less than 12 a game. They've not had many close games, maybe back in the early season, but the defense is what they've ridden all year.
And now I'm beginning to see a tired defense out there. I just looked at the 11 defenders out there for the Bearcats. 7 of them had their hands on their hips in between that last play. I think fatigue is starting to wear down, not having played in close games like this during the season.
Their average margin of victory, about 30 points a contest. Dickey waiting for this play to develop. Going downfield, intended for Brown. Tight coverage there, step for step. Was Ritchie.
There was a little bit of contact between Ritchie and Quay Walker, but not enough to warrant a flag. Plenty of time for Dallas Dickey in the pocket. And we'll see the hand on the shoulder pads, a little bit of touching going on, but not enough contact. Actually, it wasn't Quay Walker, the receiver
Telvin
for the
Brown.
Wolves. That was Telvin Brown. But nice coverage by Edward Ritchie, keeping himself close, but not too close to get the flag.
The Wolves have not been hesitant to take the deep shot here in the second half, hoping to hit. They've hit on a couple. Right now, the wind and the rain, maybe the greatest intensity we've seen today on second and long. Walker again, and that one went through his hands. A high throw, and Dickey knows it. But Walker had a chance. He's hearing it from the sideline. He said, don't worry, I'll get the next one. But he just about made that play.
Quay Walker certainly had a chance to come down with that one. Dickey put it up high, knowing Quay Walker can win the jump ball. Yeah. Dallas Dickey, you did everything you could. You put it up in a spot where your guy can catch it. Now he's got to find a way to convert this 3rd and 10.
Championship body language today. The stakes very clear. One team goes to the title game. The other season is over. 2 #1 seeds in their super regionals. A 1-point game. 3rd and 10. Here comes the rush. Great jump by Bevins. Wasn't offsides. The throw is open. The pass is there. It's caught. Shaq Hall. First down, West Georgia. 13-yard pickup.
Talked about Colin Bevins getting a jump on the snap. He's picked up on the blitz. Dallas Dickey throws the ball. Now Shaq Hall ran the defensive back off and then came back for the football. But he ran him off so far, he was able to come back for the football and have plenty of space to pick up the first down.
Shaq Hall, 60 catches on his season. Time ticking away, and now another fresh set of downs going up against this tired Bearcat defense. Look at the total yards in the second half. 1st and 10 run. And this one's going backwards. Cole Ford, he made a play when Northwest needed it. Loss of 4 for Devontae Jackson.
Devontae Jackson, a true freshman, he's got to find a way to not make those types of mistakes, setting his offense back. He certainly has made plays throughout this game, dancing and moving around, but you can't give up those yards. Now his team is facing a 2nd and 14. Not many plays on the script for 2nd and 14.
Well, Dallas Dickey, though, starting to gear it up through the air, and it's come when this rain and mist has been at its worst all afternoon. 2nd and 14. Downfield, that one tipped. Ritchie got a hand on it. It falls incomplete. Chet, I want to go back to that previous play made by Forney. You spent 15 years in the NFL and played at Colorado. When your defense is tired and exhausted, but you get a big play, what does that do for the spirits?
It's amazing. Suddenly there's a little bit of extra oxygen in the huddle. Now we're still seeing some guys with hands on their hips, but there's a little bit more life and juice to it. I want to talk about Dallas Dickey and his confidence in his receivers, because these guys are not wide open. There are very contested footballs, but he's saying, hey, I'm going to throw it to you guys. You have to find a way to make the play, make the catch, and he's trusting them to do that here in the second half.
No, it's 3rd and 14, maybe 2-down territory. See if Dickey goes for it all. Back shoulder throw. You got to be kidding me. Shaq Hall. And it's now called incomplete. Jones thought he had an interception. Hall almost had the catch. We've got to see this one again.
Great battle out there between Marcus Jones and Shaq Hall for that football. But like I was just saying about Dallas Dickey, hey, I'm going to throw it to you. I'm going to trust that you make the play. Shaq Hall almost comes down with it, but we see Marcus Jones at the end with that right hand able to rip the football out of Shaq Hall's grasp right there at the end.
That was awfully close to being a catch. Both players had a chance.
Shaq Hall jumped up and initially had it, but as they were going to the ground, Marcus Jones, like I said, able with that right arm to rip it out. And you have to have possession to the ground.
Jones dinged on the play. He's coming off. The Wolves offense, however, is not on 4th and 14. This is worth another look.
Shaq Hall goes up, gets the football. As we're coming down, that right arm for Marcus Jones rips it out. He's not able to maintain possession through the ground.
They're going to try a field goal. Hunter Heck's longest field goal of the year is 41.
The play is under further review. The ruling on the field, the incomplete catch.
I've seen it 5 times. Good luck, because I can't tell.
From the angles that we have, it's going to be tough to overturn, but I do not fault Will Hall one bit by asking for a review.
That's just great effort from both players competing for that football.
Yeah, I'm going to say Shaq Hall won the first part of the down, but Marcus Jones wins the second part of the down. That's the most important part of the down, which allows the officials to call it a catch or not. Marcus Jones, I think, is going to win this one.
Remember, it was called incomplete on the field, and I don't see anything that can overrule it. Had they called an interception on the field, I don't know how you would overturn it from that angle.
The angles are not giving us enough of a look.
The ruling on the field calls as stand. Incomplete pass.
All right, now back to the matter at hand, Chad. Hunter Heck, his longest field goal try of the year is 41 yards. He's going to come out and try and knock one from a season-long distance of what would be 53, and there is a slight wind and mist behind him.
He's had one block this year, and we know Northwest Missouri knows how to block kicks.
Keep an eye on number 3, Richie, in green. Hunter Heck trying from 53 yards. Worth a shot, and it's going to be well wide right. No good.
It is so difficult for college kickers to kick from the hash. In the NFL, the hashes are closer together, makes it an easier field goal when the ball is marked on the hash. For the college kickers, it sets them to one side of the field or the other, and I think they have a difficult time knowing how much of an angle to take to the kick.
4:39 to play. What a game. Can't wait for the conclusion when you come back. Northwest Missouri State has not scored in the second half. Their lead is but 1. The long field try from Heck went awry, and the Bearcats back on the field with 4:39 to play.
Do they keep it on the ground, try to eat up the clock, try to win this game with their big back Phil Jackson at 225 pounds? We'll see what this drive has in store.
How about this? Bowles is going up top, going for the kill shot. Got his man down the boundary. Seal stayed in bounds. Touchdown, Bearcats. And you wanted to run the football.
In my defense, I didn't say I wanted to run. I was posing the question, should they run? Now, another history of football lesson. After a big play, after a sudden change situation, most offenses will go deep, and that's what we see Northwest Missouri do. After the missed field goal, they trust Brock Bowles to find his guy, finds his guy for the big touchdown pass, breaks the tackle. Such an amazing play call at that point in the ball game. But again, the history of football teaches us after a missed field goal, a turnover, some type of sudden change situation, a lot of offenses love to go deep. Northwest Missouri obviously has read the history of football.
I agree, Chad. Very important PAT here to make this an 8-point game, and that one is good. The words going through my mind of Coach Doro earlier this year. He said, some people play not to lose. We play to win. This is a play-to-win play here.
Oh, absolutely. Let's trust our senior quarterback to make a play, and then Steele does the rest on his own, breaks the tackle, tiptoes down the sideline, gives his team a 8-point lead here in the fourth quarter.
Bowles is going to run each and every one of those 64 yards completed to George Seal, the Iowa City kid, his 7th touchdown of the year. Here's what Brady Bowles has done the last couple of days, and he's had to earn those yards today. It has not always been pretty. He's been high and hot on a couple of throws, but when he needed to make a play to flip the field in the game, he did so.
Yeah, and that's the first significant play offensively for them here in the second half. So again, you got your senior who's played in a number of playoff games. You know he's got the resiliency. You know he's got that playoff experience. You trust him in those situations. The trust paid off with a touchdown, that last pass.
There's a couple of guys deep hoping to make a play of their own. Telvin Brown, one of them, along with Ezell. True into kickoff for Northwest. Little shorter kick here. Taken from the 21. Telvin Brown out of a tackle. And he's up to about the 35. Reasonable field position with 4:22 to go. This is still a one-score game, though, if you factor in the try for two. And Chad, what we've seen out of this West Georgia offense today is the willingness to take the big shot downfield, hoping to hit that play for a score.
Well, we see that in the second half. In the first half, that really didn't happen, but they had to do something. I think they made that mental switch there at halftime, and it certainly has paid off for them. They need to pay off here again. This is a huge, obviously a huge drive in this ball game. Plenty of time left. They have no need to hurry up. 4:22 on the clock and 2 timeouts left for the Wolves.
Trips here to the right. Dickey facing pressure, getting a good block downfield, and needs 10, runs for 11.
Coach Hall talked about his offensive line being the best line in their conference, and in the first half, I don't think I could have agreed with him. But they've stepped up big in the second half, really limited and slowed down the pass rush from the Bearcats. And now here in the second half, I would say yes, I think your line, coach, is the best in the conference.
And Brandon Walton, the tight end, a big block downfield to move the sticks. Inside 4 minutes to play in this semifinal D2 matchup from Maryville, Missouri. Here comes the rush. Dickey has to let one go. It's picked, intercepted. Inyard's got it. Down the sideline for the touchdown. 14th career interception. Might just about send his team to Kansas City.
Dickey felt the pressure coming from the backside. He rolled away to escape the pressure. Smart job escaping the pressure. We'll see him being pursued from the backside, but not a smart throw with the football. Quay Walker was not open. He was well covered. Threw it underneath anyway. Touchdown, interception, touchdown, and I think that's going to give Northwest Missouri the victory here today.
I think Kansas City is in the other direction, but he could have kept on running. This to make it a 15-point game from the Denmark kicker, Mathisen. And he pounds one through. Let's go back to 2013. It was the last national championship for Northwest. They played Lenoir-Rhyne. It was a 43-28 game. And of course, here's Trevor Adams getting loose for a 29-yard touchdown reception. Billy Creason went flying into the end zone from 4 yards out. Then a block punt for a safety. And Thomas Rubin on the receiving end of a 30-yard pass from Trevor Adams into the end zone. Part of a 43-28 win, their 4th national championship. They played for 8. They might have a chance for that ultimate rubber match next Saturday. Down the road in KC.
Yeah, now Brady Bowles is one step closer to equaling his brother as far as leading these Bearcats to a national championship.
That sideline was a little bit quiet not that long ago, and it was a 24-23 game, and West Georgia lined up for a long field goal to take the lead. And since then, 14 quick points on a 64-yard pass play to Seal, and the pick 6 from Bryce Enyard.
Yeah, the scoring has definitely gone in spurts in this ball game. And then to start the second half, West Georgia had 17 unanswered, and now Northwest Missouri answers back with 14 unanswered.
And those students we just saw lining up outside the gate, they have one purpose in mind, and it's with bad intent. They're coming for those goalposts at the end. It's a tradition. And that goalpost right there, I would say, is in jeopardy.
I think there's a pond on the other side of the basketball arena, and that goalpost will be swimming with the fishes in here in a few minutes.
Barring, well, we've had, this has been the year of crazy finishes in college football.
Timeout, Northwest Missouri. First charge time out of the half, be a 30-second timeout.
Potential to parade that goalpost through town. Now keep in mind, this is the town of about 11,000 with an enrollment of 7. The school population almost doubles than Maryville, Missouri is. So it'll be an unofficial parade, and these fans, more than 5,500 strong, that have endured this mist and this fog today, hoping for a chance to play one more week just down the road in Kansas City.
And I think the Northwest Missouri football team should give these fans a lot of credit. Early on in the game, West Georgia had some difficulty communicating because of the crowd and the enthusiasm from the fans.
Here's their playoff resume over the last several seasons. You see the 2013 championship we just revisited. Last year eliminated in the first round. And Coach Dorrell told us when they were evaluating this team in the offseason, he was thinking, this might be kind of a 7-4 squad. And he mentioned how the kids, he feels like, have overachieved this year. I'm going to tell you what, you go 14-0. I don't know how much overachieving that is. That's a tremendous mark if they can finish.
Yeah, he said this is not his best team, but he thinks it's his mentally toughest team and how each player plays above themselves.
Telvin Brown's made some plays today. He just does stay in bounds. And he's going nowhere. Dropped hard at about the 12. Nothing was available from Jordan Grove. Who else? You think he does a little bit of everything? He doesn't take special teams off. This is D2. It's all hands on deck.
Hey, if you can play football, you can play football. And Jordan Grove knows how to play football. You put him in a situation, I think he could probably line up on defense and he would know how to go out there and tackle people based on the way he ran down that kickoff and got a good shot on Telvin Brown.
We'll see how Dallas Dickey responds after the pick 6 that saw his team fall 15 points down. Field position, not exactly a good setup for the Wolves. Dickey being harassed. Dickey just stays out of the end zone. Patterson and Yost harassing him in the backfield. Loss of 12 on the play. Dickey knows they need to hurry, but that takes a little bit to shake off the sting of that play. Got to believe those boys in green are going to come after the Wolves. Hey, what a great effort up the middle by Devontae Jackson, still on his feet. Enyard, who had the pick 6, finally the last line of defense, gets up slowly after that tackle. 21 yards on the play.
We were just talking about goalposts coming down. Now there's still plenty of time left in this football game, and we've seen a number of explosive plays from West Georgia. So they are not out of this by any stretch of the imagination.
3rd and 6 here. Key play. Stay on the field. Low snap. High pass. And Hall just got drilled. I think he got enough to get the first down, but he paid the price on the hit from Marcus Jones. Didn't we see these two involved in a play just a few moments ago?
We did, and I think Marcus Jones wants a little bit more because this is a nice shot at the back of the legs. Yeah, that one hurt. That one's going to sting tomorrow.
Fresh set of downs. We're nearing the 2-minute mark. Again, Dickey just running for his life. See if he gets out of bounds. He's going to throw one away and save maybe 2 or 3 yards. Brock Sherman there in pursuit.
After what was a little bit of a disappearing act by the pass rush for Northwest Missouri, suddenly they have made a reappearance, and Dallas Dickey is having a difficult time finding any time in the pocket.
He's been running for his life back there in this sequence. 2:06 to play. Play blown dead. By the way, Northwest has not had a single penalty all game.
75 offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay second down.
Dominic Robertson jumping off sides or going early for the second time in the game. And it's a pretty good offensive lineman right there.
Yeah, if you can go through an entire ball game with no penalties, that is absolutely amazing way to play a clean football game. In my time with the Patriots, there are very few signs in the Patriots facilities. But one of the first signs you saw when you walked in the building was penalties lose games. Seems like Northwest Missouri understands that, know how to play clean football.
Belichickian.
Very Belichickian, yes.
2nd and 15. Dickey a little more time to throw here. Trying to find something downfield, however. Now there's a lot of room on the boundary. He'll step out shy of the marker. Jack Young was in pursuit. Sideline was the friend there of Northwest.
Fresh bodies coming in to get after quarterback Dallas Dickey for Northwest Missouri. They talked about in the conference call, they're going to play 7 or 8 defensive linemen trying to keep those guys fresh, and the fresh crew just came in after that last snap.
Another 3rd down, 3rd and 5. Clock stopped. Wolves with a football down 15. There's number 15 getting the first down, paying a price on the boundary. Hit hard by Marcus Jones. Little emotion, little pushing and shoving by both teams after the play. I thought Jackson took a pretty good hit once he was out of bounds. First down, 1:48 to play. Northwest will call a timeout.
Timeout. Northwest Missouri. Second charge timeout of the half. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
Talk about most Division II championships. North Dakota State, now FCS. But Grand Valley State eliminated today, and Northwest Missouri State could make it a trio of teams next week with 5.
They got a chance to, yes, equal that those two teams at the top. Again, they're in the call with Coach Will Hall of West Georgia. He talked about Northwest Missouri being the Notre Dame of Division II football, a consistent program, always puts a good team on the field, always a playoff contending team, and they're proving that again this year.
Chad, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to make a prediction. I think both goalposts are in jeopardy right now, the way I see students lined up on both sides of the field. Not just 1, 2. I don't know what it costs to replace a goalpost.
But that's
let alone 2.
Well, they are already starting to loosen the cushion around the bottom of the goalpost. I just saw one of the field attendants for Northwest Missouri check to see if they can loosen that up. I guess they're fine to lose the goalpost, but don't want to lose the Bearcat cushion.
Still 1:48 to play. 1st and 10. Underneath pass complete to Seward, but only a couple of yards, and that's something Northwest will gladly take.
The defensive backs for Northwest Missouri obviously understand this situation. It's going to be very difficult to get any Wolf receiver behind them.
Took a while for the Wolves downfield to come back and line up. Big Brandon Yost chasing double figures in tackles. Came into this game in his career with 36.5 tackles for a loss.
He just put a big one on Dallas Dickey there.
You were number 99 in an arm brace. You know where I'm going, don't you?
Yes, the J.J. Watt comparisons become quite obvious.
Now it's 4th down. One more play. Yost is going to come off.
Fresh pass rushers in the game for Northwest Missouri. And again, those defensive backs, particularly the safeties, are not going to allow any of those Wolves receivers to get behind them for a big explosive play.
For most of the second half, the Wolves have outplayed the Bearcats. Bearcats had the long touchdown pass, the pick 6. Wolves need a little more magic with time running out. Need a conversion here on 4th down. This one going up for grabs. Incomplete. And that's just plain exhaustion on both sides.
Yeah, and I didn't like that throw by Dallas Dickey. At that point, you can still pick up the 1st down, keep the drive going. Throwing it deep was almost a concession to the ball game and letting Northwest Missouri win. I would like to see him try to extend that drive and go for the 1st down.
Well, Brady Bowles, much like his brother, is going to get a chance to play for a national championship. It'll be the 49th career win for the senior quarterback from Lincoln, Nebraska in his 9th playoff game. And today's victory will give him one more game to play. And what an effort here in the second half by West Georgia. Can't say enough from what the Wolves did in the second half.
Absolutely. They are in this position, in this semifinal game for a reason. Certainly a mentally tough team. I was definitely impressed with Dallas Dickey not getting off track, not getting discouraged. Made plays with his arm, with his feet. But in the end, Northwest Missouri just too solid throughout this ball game to lose to a inconsistent West Georgia.
Coach Will Hall looked like he was ready to concede. The two coaches will meet near midfield. This game worthy of a hug. Great effort from both teams. The Bearcats will celebrate their 14-0 on their way to a title game. West Georgia's season ends at 12-2, but what a fantastic Division II football game, Chad.
It really was a fantastic game. West Georgia has nothing to hang their head about. They could have tanked it. They could have, taken their ball and going home after what really was a very poor first half. Came out in the second half, fought their way back into this ball game, but in the end made a couple more mistakes than Northwest Missouri made, and I think that was really the difference in the ball game, particularly the interception pick 6 by Dallas Dickey.
That was kind of a backbreaker. Remember, at one time Hunter Heck lined up for a 52 or 3-yard field goal. Would have been a season high when the Wolves were down 1 point. It fell short, and the very next play, it was Bowles to seal for 64 yards for a touchdown.
I think we saw why Northwest Missouri is in this game, other than a couple of deep balls which were key to getting West Georgia back into the ball game. They played a really good ball game on both sides of the football, smart offensively and smart defensively.
There's your bracket. We started with 28 teams. We're down to 2 next week in Kansas City. Shepherd against Northwest Missouri State. For Chad Brown and our entire ESPN3 crew, there go the goalposts. Look out, Maryville.
And you are correct. I think both of them are coming down tonight.
Both of them are going down. 38-23 our final. Madness in Maryville. To see a replay of this entire game as well as other games on the ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. Hide the women and children. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.